in. I should save this for the camera. I'm gonna wait a couple seconds. Has been.
Wasn't there supposed to be some announcement? I think I heard.
Talking about Microsoft?
I don't know what it was. Like in about a week, we're gonna have some type of announcement. I don't know if it's anything significant.
Who took my cell phone charger? I did put it in there. Vivi, where's my cell phone charger? Oh, get You shouldn't kill it. I need it just in case it goes down. She walked out of it. Now, what was you saying?
It's supposed to be an announcement. I don't know if it was you that said it or Light in about a week, but this has been a week now.
Oh, from the consulate. You talking about an announcement from the consulate? How you half know the information?
I heard nothing new. That's all I know.
I have something, but I have the Donald Trump announcement. I've read that already, though. I read the. Is it still playing? Okay. I read the Donald Trump one, and the only look, it got the little stingies on it. You're right, it's on there. I didn't post that. Little mother heifer. I don't know how to get out of that. You talking about that right there? No, that's a Moor sending me an instant message off a messenger. I don't know how they do that. Oh, see, maybe we're supposed to be blinging it today. Maybe we supposed. No, that's a Moor sending me an instant message.
Yeah, well, we catching up. We missed you last week. So yeah, we blinging today.
That's so cute. Oh, it's not. We don't want it to show us it's snowing. Maybe it should show something a little bit more brighter than snow. Who the hell cares? Anyway, where are we at, family? Oh, I said family. Somebody's got to do the blowhorn every time I say that, because I'm not supposed to say that. I got new packets for new Moors, but I know there is not a new Moor in the house. Are you going to sit somewhere, Tiger?
Yeah, I was trying to get to
Why are we always looking to jack in? We're such energy vampires.
outlet.
You want two? Okay. What's it? He said who? Oh, this. Oh, him and him. Look. Really? Well, why are they here? Oh, they at work. Ah. I know, that's lovely, because I'm like, where they at? Lovely. Make sure if you do their pictures, they get because I know I got to do pictures for like a bunch of people. You're one. No, you. I got to do his picture. You got yours. You got yours. I don't have to do a picture for you, right?
For what?
Nationality, I did. You good, right? Do you have a photo?
Well, I have an old one, but I'll do a new one. Yeah.
Why do I always want a new photo? I still got my. I ain't gonna say it on Facebook, but I still have mine from the place you got yours. I got mine's about 2016, or maybe it was 15. Not sure which one. Look, it's putting stuff on me, y'all. Oh God, we gotta get that filter off. It made me look like, oh goodness, y'all, come on, how we do this? Find a face. I don't want you to find a face. How do y'all get it out? Oh goodness, I don't know what to do. I don't want to find a face, huh?
All the way across, get all the faces to the beginning, and then there'll be a circle.
All the faces to the beginning.
Yeah.
What?
Go to the beginning. See this plane?
No, I don't see what you're saying. Get your butt over here and tell me what you're talking about. Look, here go Robin. Robin, know we the hell here, but why is she calling?
She didn't come.
She probably sitting at my house thinking I'm waiting for her. Lee, look. It's going to put, like, watch when I go over there. Watch what it do. Watch the crazy stuff. It's showing me on here. That's why I know. Watch it.
It's there.
My friend. Watch. You see, it's not, ain't on here yet. Isn't it putting like hats and stuff on my head?
Yeah.
They got like confetti.
Exactly. See, watch. It's gonna do something once it gets me. Watch.
Oh wow.
See? Look, it's putting stuff on my head and stuff and putting. Look at this craziness.
Facebook or YouTube?
Facebook or YouTube.
There you go.
I can't, y'all.
Hey, YouTube or Facebook?
I can't. It's Facebook.
I don't know how to back out of it.
How you get it?
I got
Yeah,
rid of
Derek.
it.
Thank you, Trayvon. Thank you, Trayvon.
T was up.
He's not. He's only on the phone all day long. We have gotten rid of it. Where is Ariel?
He's trying to find a parking spot.
Uh-huh. Did y'all bring your mom?
No.
Dinah? How the heck? Where's his card? Oh, wait a minute. I'm about to say, I know his is here. It's on family. Y'all just gotta wait. Y'all got, what's that? I was cracking up. Don't be laughing. What's up with my babies? Hi, Mama. Oh, just such pretty, beautiful little dolls. How you doing, little doll? Everybody love a fish. Everybody love a fish. How you doing, cutie? How old is she, too? Oh, she's so beautiful. You wait till you get older. That hair's not going to be so easy to get it together.
I like that.
Tell
Crazy, man.
her, let me tell you. You see what my
Different from the
daughter's
ones we had?
hair got that?
I was thinking about going into
But then she still, every like what,
There you go.
3 months she'll let me touch it. She won't let me mess with it. That's why I'm like, look, you gotta do the locks with me. But everybody kind of went lock style, and DeCorey is the only one that, you know, only reason why he don't have it is because he likes scissoring his hair. But anyway, what are we talking about today? Remind the Moors there is a lean class.
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock. Where is it?
Light.
Light Tajiri Bay, Vizier Light Tajiri Bay is having a writ writing class, not writ writing class, a lean class today, 6 p.m. on free conference call. I posted it on my page and I posted it on the Facebook group. So please do not miss that class. I'm gonna make sure Light knows. Don't be doing no 4-hour recording. I was like, because that's the first thing Moors be saying. They be like, Sharon, that is 5 hours. 5 hours. Because let me tell you me, if a video is like an hour long, I'm mad. I'm not even going to act like I'm not. I'll be sitting here like, because me, I stop, I rewind, I research, and then I continue. So an hour class for me might take 2 days. 1 hour class. If I do all the research, if it's heavy with documentation and reference points. But if it's not, I might be able to go straight through. And then once y'all get to the question and answer, and I'm out. You know what I'm saying? Because they can go either way on the pendulum. So the class, like I said, the class is today, 6 p.m. Eastern Time on free conference call. The link and the information that supports the class has been uploaded to the file section of the group, and I've also emailed what groups I had. So if you got the email, or if you didn't get the email, don't worry about it because it's in the Facebook group and it's also in the file section. So just go there. That's all I can say. I can say it's no more. Islam? All right, what are we talking about today? Islam.
I've been here since 10:30.
Excuse me?
I've been here since 10:30.
Where the hell have you been?
Downstairs, all of us.
How the heck y'all was downstairs? Because we was on the other side at 10. He was the first one here. What side was you
I
on?
thought, as soon as you come in the door and sit right there.
What?
I was here since 10:30.
No. When you come in the door, right? You got all chairs where we already always are. If we're here, we there.
I didn't see nobody over there, so I said, okay, I'm about
You
to
didn't. She trying to say she ain't see y'all.
I
Cause
saw,
y'all was there with
I
time.
saw him when he went out and waved. I thought he was waiting for you too.
Y'all so funny.
I was here since 10:30.
Sonya be doing the most. I be telling y'all. How she don't be knowing where we be? Sonya, we need a new picture. Your picture is way too blurry. We're gonna take a new picture today because I wasn't gonna do the IDs and you asked me to do them over. So we need a new picture with a flash.
And then I would
today.
get my pick card today.
And then, not today. You might get it tomorrow. I might have it ready, and you can just pick it up, or we can meet tomorrow to give it to you. You and you. So I'll make sure y'all get done ASAP.
Do they have more chairs somewhere?
We're running out of chairs already.
Downstairs since 10:30. I'm like, I was hyped. And I'm like, hyped.
That is so funny, Sonya. You know how I got and I got here about what time did I get here? I got here like 10:45. Like how you ain't see me? And then my babies was running around.
Yo, my
Ishmael.
Oh, Oh, I want to be a judge, Ishmael. Islam, where are you coming from?
Lord, I flew up here last night for
Are you serious? Did you go?
Yeah.
How was it? Because they didn't Facebook Live it. I was like, oh, they got me.
No, it was good.
It was at House of Reawakening Minds, right?
Yeah.
It was packed house with it.
It was packed.
I know. Did y'all have a place to sit?
We had a place to sit there. It was good.
Oh, did you take photos?
I took one photo, but a lot of people took video and all that.
All right, Moors, who went to House of Reawakening Minds yesterday for the lovely born day of our Consular General Taj Tariq Bey, please upload your videos so we can all share into the experience because I couldn't go. Don't get it twisted. I wanted to go, but I had to get ready for today, and I had other things to get done, like identification cards, so people won't start beating me up today. So I was doing a lot of consulate activities last night, so that's why I couldn't make it at Taj Tariq Bey's Born Day celebration at House of Reawakening Minds. So everybody say, Happy Born Day!
Happy Born Day!
To Islam. That is awesome. What we got? We talk after class. So you're down in Southeast though, right?
Southeast, yes. I'm in Jacksonville at this time.
Jacksonville. How do you? Okay, we'll talk after the class. Look at all these people. Y'all is
We was downstairs.
Oh, y'all was down there too?
Yeah.
That's because you was following Sonia. I'm just messing.
No, it was people sitting there before I got there.
Y'all was sitting over in the quiet
Soon as
section?
you come in.
Tiny come in the door.
As soon as you come in the door.
To the right side, where we always sit.
Oh, y'all was in the quiet section. We never are in the quiet section. We always over here. You know that, Sonia.
It was people already sitting there when I got here, so I'm thinking he wasn't here yet. I'm all hyped and late.
You ain't late because I just started it. That's mine, please. Yes, give it here. Give it here, yeah. Oh, you got a plug? Yes, please. It's long. Oh, look at Mama here. Hi, how are you? Who else is here that's new? Every new individual, say hey. And that's Islam. How y'all doing? Oh my goodness, he almost crushed my hand. You bought two people?
One from Washington, one from Alabama.
Washington and Alabama.
Right.
Yeah, right. My buddy, my colleague, my partner, he coming in.
Right,
He coming in?
All
All right, here's my question. Who needs nationality paperwork? What? Ooh, I know who you are. You got your oh, look. Oh, y'all just scaring the Albion. We're going to have to put somebody on children duty.
Two right here, and also one has an actual court process, and I wanted you to answer the questions because you've been professional at it.
All right.
And I've been appreciating it.
This will be a very open venue. All right, so how many people? We need 1, 2, automatic.
Two over here, too.
And do you have some more
I'm like, no, we just gonna find a way to get it done. Or you know, people who are not here will. How many you need? They here? They're here. Okay. Who else is here? Robin said I needed to make more copies, and I said no. We usually get about 4 or 5 people. I won't say.
But I called you. I said I got 2 people.
You did say that. Did you steal people? When are they need? I can have 2 packets waiting for you at my house. Downside where I live. And I can pick this up. Okay. All right? I'll do that. If we don't need them, because if we don't need them, I'll bring them. Okay, that's fine. Because each packet has 2 copies, 2 originals. One's going to stay with the consulate. The other one's going to you, Islam. So I always have to have 2 copies. They probably sitting here going crazy. All right, who else? What's up, Robin? How you calling me and you know darn well? Breathe. I tell you, do you have a hair bonnet for every freaking outfit? Breathe. We need to get a lazy boy chair for you. Here, you can take this one. Islam family. We have a. Ooh, I said family, Demetrius. I meant to say heirs, Moorish heirs. I just can't. It's not going to be an easy switch, y'all. It's just not going to be easy. Moorish heirs.
the file, so.
You just print them and just gonna print them without them even being done. Ow! Don't be start charging me.
Like, I don't know how to do the
You don't know how to do the trust.
So I'm
Listen, how about we talk about the trust a little bit? And we need to talk about the trust more importantly because where are we at on the grid? Does anybody have the grid?
I do.
Who said that? Who said that? Of course, I know Sonia got the grid. I know she got the grid. Sonia is like, what about you? You got the
It might
grid?
be in those papers.
Where everybody at on the grid?
I'm on the second. I'm on the second.
You on the second one? So you did the 7 locations.
I'm on the second one.
You did the 7
All those
locations.
papers right there.
You did the 7 locations. You sent your nationality.
I sent it all that.
Okay,
And
so
they sent one back. They didn't even open it. Nothing.
it's one package. Who was the people?
From the provost marshal.
Provost Marshal been doing that. I would like to know why. I think we really need to contact the Provost Marshal because they're either sending them back before they open them, or they're opening them and then sending them back.
Mine was being open.
But there was a time they weren't doing any of that at all. They were just keeping them. But you got your return receipt for the Provost
I
Marshal.
got the delivery, the one that say delivered.
That's all that matters because what matters? Do we really care that they open it and they read the documents? It's all about us putting them on notice. Now, if they're not going to do their due diligence and read it, they're acquiescing their position. That's exactly what they're doing. When you send them some documentation and they don't read it and they send it back, they're acquiescing their position. Don't you realize that? Do y'all realize that all you are required to do as Moorish American nationals is the due process is to let them know that, oh, we're not sleeping anymore. We didn't bump our heads. We're no longer foggy. It's time for us to stand in our nobility and act in accordance. And giving them notification is just allowing them and letting them know you are no longer, you are no longer a...
Sorry.
That's okay.
Sorry.
You are no longer a ward under their jurisdiction. Because at the end of the day, when we really think about sending it to the 7 locations, it's not only just to let them know that you are no longer classified under them. Because how did we get under their corporation as employees, which is a pretty name to call a slave? What do we have to do that?
Birth certificate, right?
Birth certificate is one, but we didn't do that. Our mom did that.
Right.
And we weren't conscious because that's a contract, right? And nobody can sign you into a contract where you're not, at 1, competent, 2, by 18 years of age, and 3, given all the details of the contract. So they have to be binding, and the way they are binding is by, okay, if I contact you and say, hello, I would like $5 million. And you say, okay, I'll give you $5 million because you're giving me. And then that person says, oh, I'll give you all of Indiana for $5 million. So that is what? Exchange for exchange. Technically, you can't give away land. It's non-transferable. It's unalienable. It is not yours to give. It is yours to utilize as Moorish American nationals, but you can't sell it, family. Because if we was able to sell our land and our wealth and our resources, we'd all be dead right now because they would have no use for us anymore. Because we have transferred all of our wealth. We don't have the ability to do that. We can only stop acting in our own on our own behalf. I keep looking at you. I don't know why I keep looking at you. I'm like,
I have a question. Is it necessary?
you ain't got nowhere to sit. You have a chair? Okay, you just stand there. Who? Oh, she like, there's so much activity. I ain't used to this. Dada. Papa, go ahead.
Is it necessary for us to authenticate our birth certificate?
Didn't I answer that on the question on the call yesterday?
I didn't
Do y'all do the weekly calls? I know they be long, but do y'all do the weekly calls on? Light has one sporadically for lien classes. We have one today. Everybody needs to get on that class today because it's specifically speaking about liens. Okay? It's going to show y'all how to complete the liens, who to send it to, and what you're actually doing when you're completing a lien. So the lien class is one. Now Thursday class is the class where Consular General Shalea Moore hosts. That's on Thursday. If anything, it needs to be on that class because you can ask these questions because they asked that specific question on authentication of the birth certificate. I'm going to ask you a question. What is the purpose of you doing that?
Honestly, my opinion, I really don't think it's really gonna serve a purpose.
Right. What is authenticating something? What is it authenticating? What is it to authenticate something? What are you doing when you try to do that? Does anybody? Huh? You gotta make sure. You gotta make sure it's real through authentication.
No, you attempt to authenticate to get
the correct.
get what do you call you try okay you authenticate the birth certificate in order to get it as a deed is what they're trying to do. You want to export it to Thailand, one of those countries that's not a part of the Hague.
No. I was told that like when you authenticate it, it has something to do, like you want to change it, so to speak.
Because I know some people want to update that instrument.
For the applications, right?
Yeah, why would you update?
That's not authenticating.
Go ahead.
Authenticating is the existing, the original birth certificate that your mother signed, the application, the live birth that was generated from that. Okay, you're authenticating the live birth as a deed. You're turning it into a deed. That's the whole process. You're going through the Secretary of State.
So what's the purpose of authenticating and turning it to a deed?
So you're holding due course.
So you want to be the holder in due course of an instrument you did not create, because you have to have the wet ink signature of anything to be the holder.
But under their law, if you get it authenticated, it is though it is the original.
But you saying their law, what substantiates that?
Well, I guess the Minnesota 220.
All right, you saying Minnesota 220. Does that violate the Constitution or is it in harmony with it?
Well, I can debate on that one.
So what would be the purpose of doing it? To get that deed. So ultimately you want to control it?
To control it so that you would have some say-so in a sense.
If an instrument was used to hypothecate what is yours and steal your wealth and resources and get you under their control, why would you want to use it? Why wouldn't you want to kill it and start acting in your own nativity?
With the instrument.
Which would be what? To kill it and to act in your own behalf is what?
Improper persona.
And what does that specifically? To be in proper persona is to be
in your proper person.
To be national.
But I would agree like
so once you nationalize, it's automatically killing that. Because guess why they even created and established the birth certificate and Social Security card? Why did they establish these?
That was under the 14th Amendment to slay the living.
How specifically did they do it?
Control the
Capitalized name.
To control the living. Not necessarily just to control the living. What was it? What was they trying to move?
They tried to move commerce through the...
But what is the commerce?
Through the surety, the bond, which is the slave.
Energy, resources, land. They were trying to do things without asking you to do it as the Aboriginal Indigenous Moors. So the birth certificate, the Social Security card, and all of your lovely black leaders continued that fraud because they didn't tell you who you were. They didn't tell you that this instrument and this classification held you to servitude. And you could not administer your own estate because you were not within it in your nativity, which is what nationality is. Are you understanding what I'm saying?
Islam.
Islam. So the point I'm saying is, you don't want to authenticate something. You already know it exists because it's hurting you. It's not only hurting you because everything you own is under that so-called straw that they're controlling. Now, if you want to do anything, nationality, and killing it through the leading the straw into Social Security, which is the class that Light's going to have today at 6 o'clock, is going to show you how, no, screw authentication, screw all these little processes and these loopholes that the UCC thumpers and those so-called sovereign citizens thumpers was trying to get out of that infrastructure, which was originally Albion's. We're trying all of this before Moors. You know, they tried stuff 10 years before we even knew it existed, right? And certain things that they tried to do, we absolutely can do, but only in our national. The thing that they're lacking, which is why they can't do it in their proper person, is because they don't have status here. Their status is only evident when you don't have one. Hence, your black leader guys pushing African American, black, Pan-Africanism, Hebrewites, all of these things that you can identify as a tribe, but it's not your nativity, your nationality. You understand what I'm saying? So where are we at? Did we answer that question about authentication? Are we done with that question?
It's pointless to do.
It is. Like, if you want to see the original record and if you want to have it, claim it. Request or command they give you those original documents back. But who's housing those documents? Who's housing the original so-called birth certificate? Who? Vital Statistics is supposed to have it. The hospital's supposed to have it in their records because I don't think they transfer their records completely over. But those are two places to start. Secretary of State. Those are places.
But that's just.
Does anybody else need nationality documents that is here? Oh, Robin. You're supposed to be sitting here listening. Get your butt right here. I want you right here. They can sit down and listen to the class. No. Sit your butt. Sit. I love you. Sit your butt down.
I just want to get the telephone number.
Telephone number for the free conference call?
Yes.
Are you on Facebook? You're not on it, right? Can you give it to them? You in the group too, right? The Facebook group? You in there? Not yet? Go in there right now, because on there you'll have the information to give to him. Because I did have a printout, but those login numbers change so often, so I just, as they create the classes, I put them on the Facebook group website and I put them on my site so people have information on the classes.
I've been getting a lot of my information through
YouTube, that's another one, but that's lag, yeah.
My intention is to get a dictionary.
The Black's Law? You can get that, you can Google it. Google Black's Law, because they have a PDF until you get the actual hard copy. This is it? There you go. Thank you. But join the group because that's where we put all our information. That's where all the files are. The group I'm speaking of is a Facebook group. It's on the back page of the grid. The YouTube channel and the Facebook group that you should join and subscribe to because at least the Facebook Live, I put all the files in there and I upload them. So if something's missing, please let me know. Moorish Imperial Guards. so you can have everything that you need. Because as I say on all my stuff, and I don't be playing games, what I got, you gonna have. Automatically. A lot of people didn't come. Look, I tell you, I'm gonna mail them all out tomorrow. Watch. These ain't yours. You the one gave me that crazy old picture of Sonia. I was like, I am not doing it with this picture because she gonna be complaining. I don't like it, Cheryl. I'll be like, yeah, I know you ain't getting it until you approve it. But I have Robin.
Yes.
You gonna see her?
Yes, Lisa.
Yeah. Oh, you're gonna see. Robin. I know, I can already see it. Breathe. Breathe, Robin. Look, this thing keeps getting snagged and it's getting on my nerves. It's getting on my nerves. All right, so where are we at now?
Excuse me.
Yes.
I have a declaration of nationality that I brought in for my son.
Declaration of nationality? You mean declaration of trust?
No, I have a declaration of trust for me. Lawful notice, declaration, name correction, proclamation.
It's signed and
for my
sealed?
son. It needs to be sealed.
It needs to be sealed with stamps?
Yeah, I need a witness and yeah.
You need a witness? You got a photo of him?
He's on YouTube.
He's on your face. Is he on your?
On YouTube for you. You told him to post something.
He posted his
video.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
Cool. Does he have the link on there for me to look it up? The video?
I didn't actually read it.
Tell him to text you the video link and then you text it to me.
Okay.
What else we have? So does everybody have applications for nationality that want to declare or proclaim today? Everybody's good?
You're not application.
What? What's wrong?
Your,
What's wrong?
Sunday, when my wife and I came over, we filled out a lot of paperwork. Is there an application beyond that? Because I think when I asked, I had
You already did the application for the nationality identification card.
Yes.
You're good with that.
So all I'm waiting for.
Order forms, thank you. Order forms.
Order forms? Okay. Do we have to get order forms?
No, you've already done that.
Oh, we did all that?
Y'all good. Y'all just,
Okay, so we're waiting for our
y'all in the queue,
IDs,
yes.
right? We're waiting for our IDs.
Yes.
Do they come through the mail to our home?
Normally, I would have them here,
Right.
but I have a backlog because Robin been putting me to work. Just want y'all to say, she been seriously putting me to work. So I have like many to do, and if during the week I can't give them to you by handoff, I'm a mail them.
Okay.
So.
How soon before we get our name on the list for the
Stamp maker?
Yeah.
You just gotta send me an email, and I usually forward your email over to Light, because she's the one that'll go through.
Oh, I got an email today. She said it'll be by Thursday. Okay.
So why'd you ask that question if you already knew the answer?
No, because
Just said
I was trying to 2 weeks ago get on the stamp on the list, and I couldn't. So that's why I was asking. I said I better ask. So I asked.
But you asked, but you already knew the answer today.
No, you just said it goes to Light. Now I know why she. Never mind.
Tiger will think something till it's dead. It's long. Do we have any questions out here? All right, where we at? So we talked about authentication. Since we want a question and answer, maybe that's where we should stay today. Question and answer. But there are certain things I do want to go over. Notice of removal. Is somebody calling me? Oh. And right to travel. Oh, wait a minute, let me tell y'all something. One of my consuls, Brandy, one of my consuls, Brandy, contacted me because she was detained by policy enforcement down there near the corporate territory of Rochester, New York. Now, through that altercation, this bandit terrorist outlaw called a highwayman, misclassified as a policy enforcer for a government that doesn't exist, pulled her over, but he was so petrified that she was going to leave him. He ran. But guess what he actually still gave her? Citations. How you going to still give somebody citations, not want to be lean? Does that make sense? It's like, you're not a government. Matter of fact, where's my document? I got to read my document. I wish I had it on handprint. Is it in here? No, it's not in here. Let me read this to y'all, because y'all need to hear this over and over and over again. And I posted it in the Facebook group file section. Y'all would be busy just in the file section for the next 5 years, for real, because there's so much information in there.
So I got a question on that.
On the file section?
Yeah. Okay, now I'm trying to download and get it on my flash drive. Can I just do something just to print them all out on my flash drive?
No, it's gonna be one at a time. It ain't that built. It ain't built. I know exactly. It's a very tedious. Huh?
112 documents.
How many?
112.
It's gonna take you probably about half a day to get it done, yo.
Okay.
But once you get it done, you're done. But keep in mind, some of that stuff updates all the time, because I update them.
I do a lot of homework, so it's just homework.
Yeah, do it that way. Do it.
It's very precious, so that's why.
It's who?
It's precious to me. So
What, the information?
Yeah.
I agree. And let me tell you, when I was in my earlier years, new to Moorish Nationality, and I had RB Bay Publications, which is a wealth of information in and of itself in terms of liberation, I would download everything, post it, not because, but because I was scared it was going to disappear. So yes, take that time and do it. So you have it, and you don't have to rely on the internet to go get the information. And I say that to everyone. Whatever's in the file section, you should already have in a folder in your computer called Moorish American Consulate, something. And you should already have it, so you don't have to be relying upon the internet. So definitely, you want to do that.
As far as that Pope letter.
The Pope letter, that's what I was going to go to next.
Copies of that?
That's on the file section as
Oh,
well.
it's in the file section? Okay, thank you.
But y'all can go to the file section and then do search, civil letter. Oh, wait a minute, why am I going there? I have it all in my files. Where's it at? Pope letter.
Sharon, hey guys, Judge, excuse me, Judge.
Yeah, yes.
My colleague from Alabama got a question for you.
Give me 1 second. I just want to pull up this letter. Is it June? Why they turn the air on? They trying to freeze us. You warm? That's because you got a big ass sweater on.
Yeah, well, I got a, yeah. Yeah, 8568.
Now, who had the question?
On the right of travel?
On the right to travel. Let him ask a question, Tiger.
Public announcement.
Public, yes.
Our phone number is 267-428-8568. I'm on your consult center. And our email.
Yes, because that could help Robin, because y'all be killing Robin on the phone, just so y'all
I'll
know.
email you each my those 2 letters. So just text your email address. I'll send it out right now. 267-428-8568.
You don't know what you're asking for. I ain't gonna put it on the board.
That's a letter from
I ain't gonna put it on the board.
communications.
Because y'all gonna get swamped. I'm just saying.
Tiger.
Go ahead. Did everybody write that down? Because he has a wealth of information as well. And when you can't get me or Robin, or, you know, Tiger's very great. Yes, he's very good. Now, who had the other question?
Are you using the multinational treaty for right of travel, ICCR, or
Always somebody. I'm sorry, say this louder.
right of travel?
Right of travel.
Your right of travel, are you using the one in the Constitution or the multinational ICCPR?
What was that last part?
ICCPR, International Covenant of Civil Rules and Rights. The ICCPR.
What? Say it in interim.
International Covenant of Civil and Political Rights.
No, I've never heard of it said that way. United Nations, your rights through the United Nations. You're right through the Treaty of Peace and Friendship.
No,
you're right through the Constitution.
It's not through the Peace and Friendship. It's a whole separate treaty.
Actually, I've seen that.
And who's that treaty between?
No one talks about that.
It's a UN treaty. It's between all the nations within the United Nations.
Mm-hmm. But you know it's your God-given right as well.
That's what.
And your God-given right is supersedes any of these treaties. And I'm telling y'all, these treaties are just to enforce and to let people know, because we forget things, because we want to, be all mixed in with other nations.
Well,
we forget laws.
I drove all night. I came down here to the Tiger invite. I'm from Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
And we was talking about court cases, notice of removal.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess whenever you have a chance, I ask a few questions to ask you about that.
About the right to travel?
No.
Okay. Notice of removal.
Court case.
Did you read the instructions and processes on notice of removal?
I mean, I know how to do a notice of removal. I'm not when you do a notice of removal, and you say you got Article 3 court, right?
Mm-hmm.
So.
Do you know why we're Article 3 court?
I didn't tell him all that.
Okay.
I told him that the notice of removal was effective into an Article 3 court versus staying in from a local court like common pleas to a federal court, and it's not even the courts. Right. So I was telling him that you're the best person that can answer his question concerning this process.
Answer the question in regards to?
This process of Article 3, the actual court from Morocco versus the venue, the unsanctioned corporate pseudo-court venues that exist.
Why were they here before Article 3? Why were they here? These so-called tribunals. Why did they exist? But what was we identifying for a very long time?
I hear it's a little cold.
Yes, it is freezing.
Turn it up a little bit.
So what I'm asking on the article, when you're talking about the Article 3 court, when you do a notice of removal, if you got a court, let's say you lost your court case, and it's in the process of being appealed, can you still remove it from the appeal process to an Article 3 court?
Why are you removing it to an Article 3 court to begin with? What's the purpose of removing it?
Because I'm going to lose.
Why are you going to lose?
Because it's de facto.
Because I'm in their court.
Right, and
why
did they even establish their courts? To do what?
Just
Lord over.
Abrogate your land and transfer the wealth from you to them.
Right.
Automatic.
So
no other reason.
What I'm asking is there a process where I can change it from the Alabama courts to the What court are y'all removing it to?
The Article 3 court, which is the only court in the land, which is de jure. That's the truth. The only court in the land is the de jure, and we are the de jure. They are de facto. All of that stuff, like Judge Vizier is telling you, is they set that up to take everything that we have as a people that was designed to replace who we are. They're imposters. They're there. And they're acting in your capacity, what you should be doing. You're a bay, you're L, you're a land, you're the landlord. This is all your stuff that they took. So they stole your identity, and they're doing all this, so you take it back out of that, and you put it into
I understand all that, but when you're already in the system, I'm trying to figure out how you can remove it to the system and get it to
the rid of removal.
Right there.
The rid of removal.
On the board.
To more court.
Okay, well,
first of all,
to the only court.
First of all, before you even can remove, you have to do your proclamation and your declaration. That's one. That's first one. You're not even part of the Moorish Empire.
In a nutshell, what he's trying to say is you can remove it before it starts, when it starts, and while it's in, as well as any so-called decisions
made. His main
made.
concern is a free man already. He don't want to step back in those slave situations like being with America and all the other institutions, like the Moors. They have a problem with uniting and they haven't been doing nothing. So he don't want to step into a situation. And
I don't understand what you're saying.
He said he's trying to make the situation worse. He wanted.
You think it can get any better in their jurisdiction?
I'm not saying that.
What are you saying?
What I'm asking is, you do a notice of removal, and you're saying you're going to the Moorish court. Okay, where is the Moorish court at so you can do a notice of removal or whatever? What is the process?
How is government? What is a government? What constitutes a government? How can it exist?
It exists because of letters.
How specifically does a government get organized and established? Through people who are sovereign to the land, coming together and establishing it. No one else can establish it. Everything else is corporate because their very existence here is corporate. The only reasons they're here is for UCC commerce. So what you're asking is, where's the court? You're staring at it.
Exactly.
When you look at each and every one of your family, of your tribal members, your heirs in this room, that's exactly what it is. When you consul, every Moor should be a consul. Why is that? Because it is in all of our best interest to make sure not one Moor here gets violated. Not only the resources, not only the wealth, not only them. So what you're asking is, where's the Moorish American Consular Court? It's in all those locations listed on the website.
Like I said, Tiger invited me up here. I'm not trying to.
That's the nationality documents right there.
I'm not trying.
That's
to.
the
He had a 5-minute conversation with and jumped in his car and then he.
Okay, so what you trying to say is he needs to sit down and just listen. That's what you're saying, right?
That's great because you went from a worse situation to a better situation. Meaning,
I don't think I said.
I'm good.
He needs to study his constitution.
Well, that's anybody. Any and all of us. We're all in the same boat. We're all in the same boat.
What I'm saying is
that court is de facto.
Let him finish.
We did the full faith and credit. We did the Aboriginal indigenous to the land, private human.
Aboriginal indigenous to the land, private human. What is that?
When I was talking.
You know what our problem with as Aboriginal indigenous individuals? We don't know who the hell we are, but we want to sit here and stand on rights. In the first place that we earned is status. That's the first place. You can't do nothing until that's fixed. But you can keep doing stuff, but it ain't gonna do nothing because you're still subject to that hypothecated jurisdiction because you haven't nationalized in your nativity to get you out of it.
Well, you correct on that, but you ever heard of One Man Act?
Huh?
Are you talking about
Yes.
the book?
The One Man Act process?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm asking, reason I'm asking, I'm just trying to get clarification. Like I say, I've been studying this for a while, and I'm trying to figure out, because he was telling me about the house situation. I was like, okay, I'm on my way. So, not to try to take everybody's time.
Yeah, you doing that though, but go ahead.
Thank you, man. But I was trying to figure out.
You're asking a multitude of questions that cannot be answered in one sitting, but go ahead.
Well, I just wait.
What it is, when we first come to the knowledge, we want all our answers met because we are having colonized moments until we replace it with knowledge. We'll always have that. We'll always be looking at the service corporation and how we've been miseducated as a way to kind of adjust the parameter. Not realizing that the thing that we have to change is the knowledge as well as the misconceptions we have in our brains, in our minds, what we think. We think that it's supposed to look a specific way, but keep in mind, for about 150 years, Moors been identifying as a ward, putting all of their time, energy, wealth into a beast that's been annihilated. So it's going to take a little time to get the Moors to realize your liberation is through what you can bring to your nation. So what did one of those foreman fathers, don't ask what your nation can do for you. What can you do for your nation? To make it better so you don't have to ask these questions. You already know the answers. So it's just us coming together and assisting one another, but being patient enough to learn the things that we need to learn to re-educate us from this miseducation that we got in our brains. Because we look at their whole infrastructure. Like I say, keep in mind, it's only been there because we left the empire. We walked across the street. We walked across the street while we were being, while the shift was changing for JOBs. We walked across the street for JOBs. Why did we even think that we needed JOBs? Because now we was receiving invitations, decoys in the mail from these hypothecators, and they weren't just coming with just a piece of paper. Now they had their so-called slave patrols out victimizing you, and they created a whole educational as well as entertainment system to keep you submissive and to keep you thinking that you had no way out but to pay that ransom. So when they stuck things on your door, so-called eviction notices, you didn't have a way out of it. And guess who was sitting there watching them kick you out? Your own brothers and sisters, and some of them was doing it with them because they was employed under that so-called corporation. So even though we would like to think that we are victims, we are also a part of the problem. And the problem will only be fixed with our knowledge being upgraded to nationality and to get back into our culture. So does that answer your question? No? Because you went somewhere else.
No, man, I'm listening. I understand what you're saying, but I mean...
They have no jurisdiction. I'm going to read this.
I'm trying to reboot.
You trying to reboot? You don't want to shut down completely.
That's good because you know why? That's what it is. First of all, it's called misinformation education. That's been from generations. It goes back to way as you said, 150 years. Now it's been the Moors, so-called, has been in position to have the knowledge, also helping them to our demise. Okay, so the information was not passed on, but you wouldn't know it from your past, their past, between them. So now what they done was they got this de facto court that you think exists is supposed to be the only way because your parents, your grandparents, your great-grandparents are all into the same thing. So now it's changed because now whatever Moorish so-called organization you were involved with, they weren't even in power or correct power at that time either because the consular court was not established. So anything happened between them to now that it's been established, now it's being done correctly.
Well, actually, there was a consular court. It was shut down in '54 because we went to civil rights.
And we ain't gonna say that it was shut down. We stopped participating in our own government in favor of corporations because they made life a little bit easier, but it was more subjugated because we didn't have our own culture to even speak of.
Right, we gave them right. We took rights over our. No, we took privileges over our rights. So we lose your rights. So that's what happened. But once again, we believe that we got to go to a lawyer to bring this court. No, it's always said in the Constitution, you don't need a lawyer to speak for yourself. But that's something to do with the program. So we got to get out of that, reprogram ourselves back to what actually happened. The consular court has been reestablished. Now it's time to take any court case out of that de facto, put it into correct. Like she said,
let me say this. I'm going to read this until y'all just can say it verbatim. I'm going to do it that much because I think y'all really need to hear it. All those, this is from the civil orders letter to Barack Obama, President of the United States Service Corporation. And I think I'm going to start from the beginning, but I want to say this specific one because I think it needs to be said. And this is specifically directed to you and what you think you're going through right now. All those individuals engaged in employment as federal, state, and municipal employees and elected officials are hereby given notice that they are employees of a private for-profit corporation that are merely under contract to provide stipulated public services, having no special status, having no immunities, and having no authority as sovereign nations or states. Any actions that they are taking infringing on the rights and prerogatives of American state citizens, which is only copper-colored individuals or Americans, are criminals without exception and are to be treated as criminal acts. These individuals have exactly the same standing as employees of any other commercial company. And the rules, regulations, codes, and other statutes they enforce are obligations unique to the organization only. Meaning, the only time they can subject you is if you sign a contract with them to be a part of them. And even still, a contract that has stipulations that are non-constitutional are what? Void. For what? Why is it void? Because what? Say it louder.
Ultra-virus contract.
Ultra-virus? Express what you're saying.
Okay.
What's ultra-virus? Say that again.
Ultra-virus contract.
What is that?
It was ultra-virus, not virus.
What is that?
Ultra-virus contract, well, I understand when the contract basically is not fair.
It's not fair? What makes it not fair?
Because
it's an adhesion
contract.
It's one-sided beneficial, right?
Right.
Okay, but more importantly, what if it violates the Constitution? It's notwithstanding why. Because it's in violation of the Constitution. And that's why we as Moors have to read the Constitution. It's what we can hold them to. Treaty as well. Treaty more importantly. Because the Constitution, it only involves us when it comes to Article 6. When it's talking about treaties.
And Article 3.
In Article 3. But we go back to the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, which many people have never even read. Raise your hand if you've never read the Treaty of Peace and Friendship. Don't lie. You've read the Treaty of Peace and Friendship?
Yes.
Did you understand what it was saying?
Well, I read it.
Great answer. Right. Because I'm not asking you this because I am trying to be funny. The first 12 times I read it, I'm like, what are they talking about? And until you get competence in certain words in your vernacular, you won't understand what they're saying. And that's part of knowledge, as well as the Constitution. Because I read that 12 times, it was like, some of the stuff I'm getting, but a lot of the stuff I ain't getting. I had to dissect it. I had to create flow charts. I had to make it come to life for me. So if I have to do that, I know damn well so do you.
Article 23 of the treaty points out that the consul can validate your will. So going to the register of wills, you don't have to pay to do anything. The consul can do it.
Huh?
Article 23.
Thank you. Why do you think I don't talk, when y'all talk about I went to the county to go file? Okay. Why are you going there? I already tell y'all this. I tell y'all this all the time. Like, I ain't going to the county. I'm not going to sit here and keep talking to a corporation that want to violate. I'm just going to shut it down. Because you can. Why can you?
Oh, I didn't know that. But I have another question.
Okay. You just said that.
About what you
Because you're
just
sovereign. Because you're sovereign. That's why you can do it. That's exactly right.
Not only sovereign, all the corporations are built on you.
Exactly.
Because you are the you ain't the corporations, but you own them all. Why?
Because they came to you for it.
Yes. They're under you. The only reason why they were over top of you sitting here beating you up is because you identified through all those so-called black leadership groups. Sitting here talking about, oh, I'm black and I'm proud, and then I'm an African American, I'm Black Lives Matter. They've been playing us for a minute. Stop getting played, that's all. Playing us for a minute, all because we don't know about Moorish Nationality. And then once you sit here and talk about, oh, I'm a Moorish American National, what's that? I don't get that. So if they sit here and talk about they don't get that, you should lead them on the rip because they warring against the nation. They warring against the Treaty of Peace and Friendship. They're warring against the Constitution, and more importantly, they're warring against the pledge independence of the Declaration of Independence. So if they gonna sit here and try to act like they don't know who you are, they get lean just because they playing you, trying to see what you know.
You go. I just want to add to that. You know what? There are those that definitely know. You know, they have over 500 years at least of our alchemy and our sciences. So they know. They know. And then there are those...
And ignorance of the knowledge is no excuse for violating.
Wait a minute. I'm not saying that, but there's some that don't know.
Don't matter.
Wait a minute. Judge, respectfully. For those that don't know, it is incumbent upon you to know so that you can then inform them as to, you know what they should know.
But I'm going to say this.
But you still got to know
they
yourself.
Don't not know.
Don't know.
They don't not know. I don't go with that. They know. They know. Because their whole infrastructure is built on us. The whole freaking thing.
And so is it true that 1776, that's when they took over our independence and made us slaves to it?
1776 is when they got independence from Great Britain.
Now,
I have a question about the letter that you just read.
Yes.
So when I was researching that, I could never find the original from the Pope, or I couldn't find...
You think you're going to find it on the internet?
No, well, I thought I could find it.
Because it's only a copy on the internet anyway.
If you
I thought I could find it somewhere.
No, it's not coming from the Pope. It's coming from the
All the so-called Pope Vatican is telling you is the cookie crumbs of what, I mean, the Aboriginal road that was established to let you know what they did. That's the only thing the civil orders letter is telling you. Because you won't listen to your own people saying it to you. We know this. We gotta wait till the Albion tell us some stuff, and then we be like, okay, yeah, we good. And they ain't got nothing to do with you disrespecting or putting a stranger in front of you. It has everything to do with the trauma in the blood through those subjugated years. It has nothing to do with nothing else. We have the trauma in the blood. Go ahead, Tiger. You want to say something?
No, I like what you're saying.
We have the trauma because whenever we was dealing with stuff, the Albions was the ones up in your face beating you. Yes, they was the ones doing that. So you looking for validation and you looking for approval because you think you're gonna die or something because of the trauma in the blood. That's why when you go to specific buildings, you have this thing come over you. I'm not gonna say what it is. We all know what it is. You have that come over you. That's because of the past traumas that's in your blood that you have to eradicate. And guess how you eradicate it? Going through those doors. No other way.
With knowledge.
With knowledge.
Point
and standing up.
That's my point. You have to have knowledge. Okay? Even if they don't, you do.
Bring your octane down, mama. Breathe. Ain't an Albion in this room. They the ones deserve that. Not one in here.
No, but there's surveillance in here, so they're here.
Yeah. I'm like, shucks, you gonna make me get it. Does anybody got a heart palpitation machine? Because we might have to resuscitate her in a minute.
I know CPR.
You know CPR? Do I gotta read that again? Did anybody get what I was saying? Did you get it? Tell me what you got. Do I gotta read it again to refresh?
Read it again.
Huh?
Read it again.
There we go. All those individuals engaged in employment as federal, state, and municipal employees and elected officials are hereby given notice that they are employees of private for-profit corporations that are merely under contract to provide stipulated public services, having no special status, no immunities, and having no authority as sovereign nations or status or states.
Okay, could you stop right there?
Yes.
Please? So that means we have no right over what we have?
them.
All right, let me read it again, because I know it's difficult, because when somebody else is reading something, it's a little bit difficult for you to understand. Sometimes you have to read things yourself.
When I was at the, this is valid.
Tiger, we ain't going there. Wait a minute, let me finish. All those individuals engaged in employment as federal and state employees and municipal employees and elected officials are hereby given notice that they are employees of a private for-profit corporation that are merely under contract to provide stipulated public services and have no special status, have no immunities, and have no authority as sovereign nations or states. What that's ultimately saying is that they're all corporations for profit with no immunities or status beyond that corporation, which also means that they can't evict you from anything. They can't put you in handcuffs and arrest you. They can't do any of these things. And it also says they're criminals and criminal acts. What would you do if somebody was trying to steal your Walkman? Wait a minute, let me use it. What would you do if somebody was trying to steal your cell phone? What would you do? You would beat them. So why you sitting here just letting them take your... I'm going to tell you why. Because we sat there, stopped, and forgot that we were all one nation. We were all from one mother. One mother gave us all suck. Regardless of our tribal affiliations, we all come from one source. Why we gang war with each other, and why we sitting here standing there watching them take somebody's stuff? Why the Moorish Imperial Guard ain't standing there, you better get your ass out of here? Why we ain't doing that already? Why did that so-called individual down in the New York territory get choked out with a whole bunch of more standing around watching? And why was they scared?
They didn't know.
My point is that they didn't know that they were Moors. They didn't know that they all belonged to one nation. They didn't know law. When you know the truth, you have strength in that. That is your scimitar. That is your massive weapon of destruction.
So the United States government, I already know it's a corporation. Every state and municipality below this larger super body, the United States government. That means that anybody from any one of those other areas of employment come to you with any kind of nonsense, you can present
every last
them
one
with this information.
Yep.
And they should back up.
Oh, wait a minute, but they ignorant. We talking about ignorance. Ignorance. Okay. Think about what we've been doing under subjugation.
Okay.
Think about what we've been doing.
Right.
We've been beating each other up, stealing each other's homes under these so-called employment service contracts, which is called slavery.
I want to cut you off. So that means that if somebody comes at me, say it's a cop.
Policy enforcer, bandit, terrorist.
Yeah, okay. Say if somebody sends me a notification to go to court because
decoy,
I didn't pay.
Invitation.
And I had to pay
contract.
For the daggone reason of the opportunity to go to court and plead my own case.
Why would you go to Walmart to plead anything?
I'm not going to Walmart. I didn't go to Walmart. I went to
That's exactly what it is. It's a for-profit corporation. It's a full.
But you went to a corporation.
All those individuals engaged in employment as federal and state municipal employees and elected officials are hereby given notice that they are employees of private for-profit corporations that are merely under contract to provide stipulated public services, having no special status, no immunities, and having no authority as sovereign nations or states.
Well, the reason I said that is because I like a good fight. First,
you don't want to fight, you ain't got to.
I mean, you know, I'm just saying that. But like, when I went for this particular situation, I lost. So
you were still in status too, just me, mind you.
So now.
So you was under the code, black codes we're talking about.
Well, I know that. It wasn't about if I was white, I could go in there and something would be done.
Status.
All right, so what? I'm white.
Status.
You know, I know that. After I went through the procedures of fighting the whole situation, I had to go a different course in order to win my cause, but I won. You know, and I didn't know anything about the Moors like I know right now.
They'll give you a bone, then take it next week with something else.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm not about that.
I'm just saying. Sometimes they give you. Sometimes all individuals within those infrastructures are not bad.
Did you really say that?
Some of them will do the right thing because they know this is karma, right? Yeah. But at the same time, they didn't have to give you anything because you still was under their status. They chose to because a part of them wanted to do it. Because at the end of the day, it is up to the will of that individual that is that you are that's presiding over that particular situation. And like I say, some of them are good.
Yeah.
Some of them are you know, but they get directives just like anything. Don't dismiss, no dismissals. They go through the same meeting rooms we have here. They have, and it's full of snakes and sharks, and they don't care. They just want like if I had it, I'll show you a municipal or a county or so-called corporate state's financials. The top of their financials is what? Where is all of their so-called revenue coming from?
Us.
Right. And how? In the form of what? Y'all can just name. Y'all can just keep naming them. Taxes, tickets,
whatever.
Putting you in incarceration. Now you a slave. For real, for real.
Yeah.
Don't show up.
All these different ways they doing these things, right?
Hating contracts.
So
hating contracts, written, oral, all you know. Any
what is passe comitatus?
Anything accepted other than your true nationality.
People.
When you say you're black, you give them jurisdiction. When you say you're African American, but you gotta do it.
But guess what? Even now, you ain't even got your now. Cause guess what? The consulate in the Moorish American Nationality is here. They don't have it anymore. They don't even have you as a ward. My point. The only way they have you is if you keep sitting there asking for them to whip you on this back, and then you turn around and say, okay, whip me on that one, and you making that decision.
No, you talking about that stuff that's in the Bible.
I'm talking about everything is relevant. Everything is relevant. Some of our people, they cool with it. They cool with it.
Yeah.
Some of our people are against us. What's passe comitatus?
We have to wake up. We have to wake up. If you're born into a lie, if you're born into a lie, how would you ever know the truth? If you're born into a lie, how would you ever know the truth?
Because I was always trying to find.
You were looking. The matrix wasn't sticking.
I was deceived.
Okay. So like, it's not the same as me coming in here and talking about, well, I didn't know because I had an idea.
And just like I said, ignorance of the law, they ain't gonna give you no
well, you know,
bone for that.
The way I found out about what you're saying is by actually doing something that was the direct antithesis of what they tried to get me to do. You know, and that goes back to when I was in my late teens.
Passe comitatus, what is that?
That's the authority under which...
You looking at it? You reading it? All right, go ahead, read it loud, turn inflect.
The authority under which the county sheriff or other law officer conscripts any able-bodied person to assist in keeping the peace.
So pretty much passe comitatus is keeping of the peace of the officials. Who's the officials of the Moorish National Republic federal government of our...
We are.
Right. We are. And it is our responsibility to keep the peace. How do you keep the peace when people are violating the laws? As consuls, whether you're commissioned or not, as Moorish American nationals, it is your responsibility, it is all of our responsibility, our fiduciary, however you want to call it, to make sure we protect each other, the wealth and the resources. Because for the past 150 years, they have been getting out like a fat rat, charging us, not finance, because we had never been paying them anything. It was our labor that we have utilized to get this imaginary fiat. So we've given them ourselves. We ain't getting nothing in return. My point. So we're giving them all of this energy to create all of this now that they sitting here like, whew, I got a decision to make. The decision is, do I still lie or do I tell the truth? But if I tell the truth, I might get beat up by my people. I will get beat up by my people. And they still getting it together. Right? So that's the Moorish Imperial Guard. That's where that comes in, where everybody volunteers. So if we have a situation that needs to be rectified, because today, not one Moor should be getting thrown out of their conveyances, should be getting locked up, and should be getting thrown out of their domiciles. Not one. But at the same time, Moors got to know that. You got to know that and act in that capacity and not have fear dwelling so deep that you won't run and abandon your estate.
How do I go about getting a piece of property that I own back?
Claiming it.
And then what do I have to do to claim?
That's part of the process. No, absolutely not.
I'm trying to bring you back to where it is that, your
attitude, you got to bring that frequency down. No, I'm not going to allow you to do that.
Well, what you were talking about,
What was
with
that?
the letter.
The who?
The letter from the Pope.
I'm sitting right
can we go back there? Because there's some real points that just need to be solidified.
There are a lot of real points. I'm going to
but
read the whole
right.
thing because it's, hi, Islam. Lovely, y'all just scared.
I'm here from Ohio, so I'm sorry.
No, you don't have to make any apologies. You know y'all show just in time no matter when y'all show up.
So, what happened? I lost my property due to taxes.
You lost your property because you were a ward.
I'm a ward, okay.
You were a ward.
So I went down there and attempted to give them some money on the taxes.
You was giving them Federal Reserve notes, which isn't money.
Whatever.
You ain't give them nothing. Nor was they going to take it.
Yeah, they wouldn't take it.
Because they already probably had somebody that paid like 50 grand in that so-called whatever the heck you want to call it at this point, monopoly money. They already had it. You don't understand. Y'all sit here and think the sheriff is who you're supposed to be calling? They supposed to be the in-between person. So when the consul comes talk to the sheriff like, look, this is what's happening, that sheriff's supposed to be like, yeah, y'all can't mess with that. That's what the sheriff's supposed to do. But they end the game. They end the game because once they so-called do a foreclosure or whatever the heck they want to call it, they sell it for $1.
I know that.
And then the damn sheriff sells it again for 50, 20, and then now he gotta help. He gotta help. What's the word? He gotta help get you out of there.
Yeah.
So why ain't the sheriffs lean? I did it already. All of them, because they're all like, and it's interesting because people like to say, oh, the sheriff this, the sheriff that. They only that in good behavior.
Right,
when they're not violating.
I hate to keep you on this topic.
We about to get off of it, so.
How do I?
I know what you asking.
I
know what you asking. You got to get your. You got where you at on the grid?
Where am I on the grid?
Yeah.
Okay.
Where you at?
What
Does
is
she
the
know?
grid?
Huh? He said, what did he say, y'all? Did he say the dreadful words? What is the grid? What is the grid? Did he say that? Oh, you got it right there. You still in tier 1. I know you in tier 1. You got to get at least a tier 3.
Okay. That's all I need to know. Thank you.
Just ask that question. This is my first time.
Oh, buddy. You know, it be the first people here I'll ask all the questions. They want to get all their questions answered in one day. You know that's impossible.
No.
But go ahead. Because you knew. Go ahead.
The question was, I don't want to embarrass myself.
You ain't embarrassing yourself.
So I need to talk to you about matters other than this.
Everybody's got the same manner. You don't got to just talk to me. You're going to get the wealth of information because all these people are in the same boat.
I'm not in the boat. You don't know my situation. I came
you ain't in the boat?
Tiger should have told you he don't do his job. I came here for a specific reason. None of this.
What's your specific reason? Say it. I want to hear it.
Because
you saying it's private?
At the end of the day, people going to know how they going to make their finances if they got a how they going to get the right currencies.
How they gonna get the right currency?
See, if we not employees, what are we gonna do and how we do it? That's what I want to hear. What industries are we creating? Y'all can talk to law, but we better get to work and get our banks, our hospital, all our stuff.
Isn't it so funny when a person comes the first day and think we ain't doing that?
Anyway, I don't got no nothing.
No. Because here's the reality. You speaking the truth, but it's yours specifically. And you don't know what other people were doing because you just met them for the first time.
I don't.
It's an assumption. You're making an assumption that ain't already being handled. I'm going to confirm it's already being handled. Because guess what? Who owns the commerce at Morocco? Who? He had to think about it. Anybody else? It's all ours, right? So now you're asking, how do we generate wealth in this? You already got it. You are already wealthy. Do you know what the Prophet Noble Drew Ali said? What did he say? Anybody say it? Come on. What did the Prophet Noble Drew Ali say? Just one specific.
Right.
You just rich, Moors. You already are. Already are. Guess why we in those tribunals? Because we forgot that we already rich. Not tribunals. Why we in those slave camps? Because we forgot we was wealthy. But they didn't forget. They created a whole infrastructure to take it from you. and to utilize it.
And they convinced us
So can you go back to the
that we
letter?
were supposed to be where we are.
Because that's your
right now
release.
today.
You just got released.
I understand because everybody's coming here at a different point of life. Some people are coming here and going through nothing. Some people are coming here going through a whole lot of stuff. Some people are coming here trying to get out of stuff. You got to realize everybody here has got to deal with the stuff, the energy, the karma they've pushed on themselves because we are not victimless individuals. We can all look in the mirror and know one person we've hurt under subjugation. We all have at least one. So realize we got some things to do. And if you are in a mad dash, that's your mad dash. It's yours. But you're in the right place to get it started, to get it done. And it don't start until nationality is established. No matter what process you start. Nationality is the order of the day. And this is why we're here today to reclaim what is ours, because if you don't ever want to walk out of your house, your home, you don't have to. And you'll still eat. You'll still have lights. You'll still have water. That's all I'm saying. Back to the letter. Oh, you got a question?
I want to add to what you said. And my name is Malika, and I am under attack in Ohio. I came for several reasons. One, I was invited by Grand Sheik Taj Bay. His birthday. We were at his party yesterday.
Did y'all take videos?
Well, yeah, we did.
Okay.
So he sent us to you. So I see this as being divine. But the situation that the brother was mentioning, we got to the point of estate. We created our estates. We gathered all of our properties, we procured our securities in our estate. Ohio is not allowing us to record anything to balance our commerce.
You recorded with the consulate.
Okay. Now, in the same
and you mail it to them.
Mail it, register.
Don't go walking in there.
No, we didn't, because they
mail
refused.
it, certified return receipt. You got the tracking. That's all you needed.
She returned it back to us.
Don't matter because they received it.
That's what we said.
Keep telling y'all they don't have to acknowledge anything
because they didn't give us a file number, so we couldn't add addendums to it if we don't know where it is. So we assume they threw it away.
We don't assume they have it. They ain't throwing nothing away.
Right. So we were here trying to wonder, like,
they can't. Do you realize when you put your pen in that document, they talking to their God?
I realize that.
All right.
But that's the procedure part that we're missing, because we're at the point of
how many Moors is down there? You should have already done it. How many Moors down there that are nationalized? That's part of your
It's about 15 that I represent 15 now, and 9 of them are all under attack. 9 of them are either in jail at the moment, and their children are being in jeopardy of taken from them. They just did that to me.
What about extraction documents? Have anybody done extractions?
I have them now, but no one knows what to do with them. That's why we're here. So there's a couple of us still in jail, and they're trying to snatch the children for abandonment because they
so
put
did you
the
put them in your home? All the children need to be
I took the children.
Yes.
Well, I took my children out of state.
Yes.
That was the only way for me to
so
get them.
Get the children out of harm's way by getting them, putting them up.
One of them is here, and the other 2, I spread them out because they only had a couple of addresses to find me, because they're also snatching. The same prosecutor is taking my house. So he knows that I'm not at my home. So he's gathered.
You haven't done any notice of. I'm sorry.
We're dealing with mafia. I've done all of that.
They're all mafias, yes.
I've done all of that. This
is the part where Moors have to come together, which is what I keep telling people. This is not a game, and this is not for play.
It's so not.
It is the Grand Imperial Guard is needed for us to secure what is ours. That is Moors that domicile near the Ohio territory. Y'all need to be sending an email specifically from Ohio territory to Moorish American Consulate NE at gmail.com. That's Moorish American Consulate NE at gmail.com. I want every Moor that's on this broadcast or that'll watch this broadcast later to be and send Moorish Imperial Guard / Ohio Amexem territory. Send me that email so we can organize and mobilize so nobody's getting violated down there. But liens have to be done for the whole infrastructure. If all of that so-called corporation is violating people, then the whole corporation needs to be liened. Use the Pennsylvania corporation lien that I processed and make sure you rope them all in. What's at the top of that tier, y'all?
Governor.
And where are you going to find all this information out at? Until we get the Grand Army of the Republic, Donald Trump, do your job. On the ground, protecting the nationals, protecting the Americans. We got to protect ourselves in the meantime.
That's what we said yesterday.
Sharon, while you're doing that, I have a copy of the description of the administrative process for the United States, England, and the Vatican. It describes the Crown Empire, and a lot of people don't have that. And I can email it to you. Text me your number and email address. I'll email it to you. A copy of the Crown Empire that describes the administration process, the United States, the Vatican, and the England. Complete with the history that King John gave England to the Pope. The popes control England.
Right.
So when Hitler bombed England, they almost destroyed their administrative process. They kept it going. He stopped bombing them because he would have destroyed them. And then the United States is owned by the popes of Rome. So I have it's called the Crown Empire. I got it. Want a copy? Text
Which is why the civil orders letter is important.
Right.
Because they're showing you the dismantlement as well as giving you clarity as to the infrastructure.
And I'll send you those too. I got both of them. Just text me your 267-428-8568.
So it starts with who? What does the Ohio Corporation start with? Who's at the head of that corporation?
The governor.
It's supposed to be a bay. Yeah, it's a governor.
The governor's the CEO. Y'all know that, right? So he's down here somewhere.
He's a sovereign person.
Okay.
It's called the Crown Empire. I'll send that to you.
So who's the governor of Ohio?
We are. I am.
No, I'm talking about this corporation.
Oh, corporation.
Who is it? What's his name?
Casey.
What?
John Casey.
John? Spell it for me, baby.
K-A-S-C-I-H. C-I-H. S-C, I'm sorry.
What we got? What was it?
That'll do.
Wait a minute, no, we gotta get his name right.
Casey.
I gotta Google it.
Cause y'all got phones and tablets, look it up if y'all don't know
His
it.
advisor's gonna say, listen, they was talking about you guys.
Exactly.
They
The
gonna
point.
lean you, man.
Public notification. Nobody likes to do Facebook Lives. I'm like the only one doing them. John who? What's his name? Of Ohio, governor of Ohio.
Mike DeWine.
Now, how do you get John?
That was before the election.
When was the election?
I don't know. I wouldn't vote.
Man, you gotta know who you gotta address when you're dealing with them. You gotta know, because it's corporate. Mike who?
D, capital D, lowercase e, capital W-I-N-E.
I-N-E?
Yes.
Oh, look at him, he got wine. Mike DeWine?
DeWine.
Mike DeWine, doing business as the governor of Ohio Corporation. That's who he is. Has he been leaned yet?
No.
What are we waiting on?
No.
Do you know
Well,
what these leans do?
Kasich was, but no one did it.
Well, y'all, as soon as they had that transfer, y'all should have had it done.
Okay.
Well,
I'm just saying,
Okay.
we gotta get stuff done.
Right.
But all right, we got him down here, but he's the executive. He's just like the president of the service corporation. He's just administering what other people decide. So who are those other people deciding?
The board.
The board of what?
Directors.
And who are the board of directors?
United States Service Corporation.
All the senators and the House of
The senators and House. Yeah.
Those are the board of directors, y'all. All of them listed out. I know there's a lot. Because Pennsylvania Corporation had about 4 of those and about, I don't remember. So you gotta list them all out. Same way, Mike DeWine, doing business as governor of Ohio Corporation. And then the next person is the 50 senators doing business as, so you would say Mike Smith doing business as senator of Ohio Corporation. So that's next. Then you would list out all of the House of Representatives by name, each individually. It's gonna take a day, y'all, because you're gonna get tired. But get it done. And if you're gonna do it anyway, do it in an Excel spreadsheet. Have multiple people doing it. Whereas though you don't all have to put it on you. So that's the next. What was after that?
Lieutenant Governor, or do you do them specifically?
You got Secretary of State. You got Attorney General, right?
And you got a Board of Governors.
You got Board of Governors.
Which you hit them as well.
Who else, y'all?
Treasurer.
Treasurer. Yep. They all before this person. You know that, right? Who else?
The sheriff.
They in this body. Because next you're coming down to the counties. How many counties is in Ohio?
Good question.
Somebody look up the counties in Ohio. How many counties are there in Ohio?
Should be about, what, 67?
Huh?
You say county, right?
60 counties. Yeah, I thought it was a lot.
Yes.
Do you realize, okay, everybody, y'all gotta watch the video I did on counties because y'all gonna be mad. But anyway.
I know. But
Huh? There's 67 in Pennsylvania. North Carolina has about 120.
120?
120. I don't know anybody who's beat that corporation. But guess who's in charge of all of those counties? Families.
66, I know.
Their families, because they are actual families. No, they're families.
Right, right.
They're families. We are, thank you though.
Right.
So this is the infrastructure. Because in the counties, who's all the people listed in the counties?
Things going to the records, the lower left.
I think that might be good. Oh, that's you? Oh, good. You got commissioners or council members.
Yes.
Then you have, I'm trying to go by memory. Then you have the manager. You have the sheriff's under here now. I know I'm spelling it wrong, I don't care.
What about the city solicitors?
The city solicitors, solicitors. Come on, y'all. Treasurer.
Mayor.
Sheriff's right there. Who else? You got the clerk, y'all. That's the one who starts the bullschnitzel. That's the one who's actually filing the stuff. They're the ones that the policy enforcer comes in because they are a corporation, a private corporation underneath these. And if you look at the counties, if you look at each county might have like 50 departments, 50 police departments under the county, one sheriff office. So you got the commissioners, you got the manager, you got the sheriff, you got the city solicitor, you got the treasurer, you got the private corporations which are the policy enforcers. You got all those. They all should already be leaned. But I can't lean everything because I would never get anything else done. So I gotta pick and choose what I lean, who I lean, right? We have to take the business away from them. We have to take the commerce away, and because they're violating what? What are they violating?
Injuring us.
Not sorry.
They're violating what? Which gives us every opportunity. And Light brought something to my attention. We were talking about this yesterday. What the liens really are doing.
It's taking away their power.
It's doing more than that. Even death
sabotage,
warrants.
yeah.
We're
Exactly.
issuing death warrants. Do you think they deserve? Hell yeah. I don't have any issues issuing those. Because all they had to do was what? Yup. All they had to do was what? Follow the supreme laws of the land. Which is what?
Treaty of peace and friendship.
Let's go in order. Let's go in order. Which one's by date? Which one was first? Which was first? Because we didn't do no treaty of peace and friendship until they had stuff together first. They had to get stuff together first, y'all. What was first? What they had to do first before they could even do anything? They had to organize. What was that organization? Because the reasons why they had to do the Declaration of Independence was what? Because that was already property of something.
Who is they?
Albions.
Association. They had an association.
Goodness.
Was it Articles of Association?
The Declaration of Independence. What did they pledge in there? They pledged allegiance to the Moors, even though that document is devoid of that for the public consumption. But for you to even declare anything, you had to be denouncing one other thing. So they denounced their allegiance to Great Britain, and they declared it to the Moors. And we know that because we're the sovereigns of the land. Who else would they be doing it to? Right? Regardless if they omitted it from their documents, but only added Supreme Judiciary, I think they said, in the actual document. So in this document, they declared and proclaimed their allegiance to the Moroccan Empire. And what did they pledge?
All the resources.
Ain't got no resources.
Their life, their posterity, their generation.
Their honor, their fortune, their life. That's what y'all hold them to. They want to sit here and play games with y'all. Y'all gotta bring the law. Like, look, this what you violating. And because you violating all this, I'm doing the lien. I'm putting a death warrant out on you. And guess why? These things are happening because they're just not showing you like, oh, the wars killed this person today. It's gonna say something like this. Governor, what was his name again?
DeWine.
Governor DeWine. John DeWine, what was the first name?
Michael.
Governor Mike DeWine has just died in a plane crash. Y'all know y'all doing that? They're not gonna tell you what you want to hear because they know you're gonna start going from 1 word a day to 12 in one day. They trying to slow y'all down. Us. So they're gonna tell you that you the one making John DeWine. What is his address? Somebody say it. John. Is it John?
Mike DeWine.
Mike DeWine just died in a car crash because the Moors just issued a death warrant. And why do they switch? That's why you put the corporation in there as well. It takes 30 days to mature. I mean, 90 days to mature. When did you do your lien? When did you file it?
I still have it. I haven't even filed. I haven't
for
done anything with
not
it.
him. I'm talking about Ohio Corporation.
Ohio Corporation. I submitted that on December 28th.
December. Still got some time to get mature.
Well, the February 8th it expired.
February 8th.
They have not responded.
Do another one. How did you send it? And who'd you send it to?
I sent it registered mail, and I sent it to, on my proof of service document, I sent it to everybody who sent me something.
And who was did you send it to the, what's the 3 locations on the template for the lien?
No, I didn't send it to Washington, D.C.
Imperial, D.C.
That's Mariel Browser. Who's the other one?
Deed of Records.
Recorder of Deeds, that's one. And then the other one is Tax and Assessment, I think, all in Washington. Did you send it to them?
I just learned about that.
Did you publicize it? Did you put it on a public forum?
That's what I'm here to do.
You want to know something? When y'all do these PDF them and put them in the file section of the group till we get the website up and running, as well as we record as much as we can to the Moorish American Consulate.org website. So as we get those documents in, we're recording them.
Okay.
Because guess where they're getting their directives from? The website. We don't need to use the corporations right now. We have our own way of distributing information, right? All right, so that's the first part of the Supreme Laws of the Land. What's the second? What came second? What came after them declaring and proclaiming everything that they are, including their whole bodies, to us in 1776? What came next? And they did that on what date? July 2nd is actually, that's when they celebrated. They did it on July 2nd, 1776. The Declaration of Independence.
Articles of Confederation.
Articles of Confederation. Now, what did the Articles of Confederation talk about?
It's contracts and agreements.
Oh, we know that, but what does it say? We gotta read it. We gotta read the Supreme Laws and know them verbatim. This is the infrastructure of their organization. So it started with their declaration and it continued with their organizational structure.
Actually, they define it more in the articles,
colonial
articles of 1643. They actually define it even more because that
was the first one.
But
that was only between.
But they are no. What I'm saying is they argue in there.
That's where this comes from.
Right, but they argue in the articles of 1643 fighting off the natives to grab more land. They actually define it in there. They tell it.
Now, what was the natives? Who were the natives?
Us. But
there were some other natives here too.
But the colonial articles of 1643 is even better.
Yes, but this is the one, you can read both, but this is the one that's a part of that series.
Oh, yeah.
Because the 1643 one was not between the whole 13 colonies.
No, it wasn't, but
it was between which ones specifically?
Those colonies working together.
Tell me which ones. Say I don't remember.
No, there was 13 of them. It was all 13 by that time.
No, the 13 was here.
Excuse me, it was 9. It was 9 by that time.
9?
Yeah, by that time. Sorry, because it was 4. It went from 2
because
to 4.
Because it was in regards to
to
specific
9.
issues that they were dealing with, and they were coming to us for redress, and we told them they had to organize a government and get some type of structure to secure and protect themselves. That's where the original 1643 Articles of Confederation came from. But it was only in between like four colonies. Now, we got to realize what was colonies, man, y'all.
Plantations.
They were plantations. That's another name for corporations. That's another name for a British colony, which is another name for a British corporation. That's what they were. And they were very small, y'all. It wasn't large. It wasn't like you look at the so-called U.S. map now. It's nothing like that. When you look at that, if you're looking at me as the United States fake map, what you laughing at? You have, you know where so-called Pennsylvania, so-called New York, and then you go down the bank, the river bank. That's where they was at, y'all. It was like tiny little colonies all the way over here on the so-called U.S. map while we was chilling. All the way over here.
So what this is all about semantics.
Semantic deceit.
They're taking all these words and
they did it in school, but guess what we did? We sent our children there to get all jacked up.
Yeah, and that's
which is why when they get about his age, when they get about little, what's your appellation? What's his appellation?
Cheney.
Cheney what?
He hasn't changed, but it's Cheney Harem.
Cheney who?
Harem.
So he hasn't nationalized yet?
No.
How old are you now? Get him done.
Yes, we are trying to do that today.
Get him done. Wait a minute, do we got any extras? So you ready to declare proclaim? Yeah? The babies, they act like they can't talk when they're around everybody else, but when they home, they screaming and hollering. Trayvon, where's your brothers and sisters? He's like, I don't know, I'm on my phone.
Right.
Listening. I love it because, you know, he's normally at basketball practice, which is usually why I be trying, but to no success getting out of here in a reasonable time on Saturdays. But today I don't have to be rushing. But I never, oh, wait a minute, I didn't put, y'all didn't even say nothing.
1777.
There we go, 1777. All right. And this is why, and we put all this stuff down because this is what we hold them to. This is what we talk about. But at the end of the day, when they sit here and try to lie and try to sit here and say they're coming, we need to have 20, 30 Moors at each house when they say these things. That's why Moors in Ohio territory, I need you to send that email so you can get on the triage. So if anything go down, we got Moors at that domicile. Period. You don't got no choice because Sharon telling you ain't got a choice.
Does the Bill of Rights fall into it too?
That's next. Good job. That's part of the... Oh, wait a minute. That wasn't next.
No, that's the Constitution.
No, you have the Northwest Ordinance.
No, it's only 4 documents. All the, and then these add to those documents.
Treaty of Peace and
Thank you.
Treaty of Peace and Friendship.
They also call them the Barbary Treaties. And Barbary Treaties is it Latin for more or is it Arab for more? One of those two, I can't remember. But it's actually more. They're saying the Moorish Treaties when they say the Barbary Treaties.
I was looking at some books. This calls California the Barbary Coast.
It
I
is.
didn't know that before.
Yeah. Well, keep in mind because they're using corporate terms versus our ancestral cultural identifiers, but they're not going to do that because all it takes is a couple of things to link us back to our ancestry. It don't take much. Like, we ain't got to do this for 20 years, y'all. We got to do this for 20 minutes. And you're going to have everything you need. This is the foundation right here. And we're going to talk about the Constitution for the United States of America.
Morocco.
I don't know if y'all can see the bottom on the phone, on the cord, but this is what you need to stand on. And also unity. Because our biggest weakness is our unity. That's our only weakness. Now, what happens when we're unified? Do we even have any?
No.
Yes, we do.
We do?
45 million Moors.
Huh?
We have unity, right?
We got unity, right? So how many Moors is going to be at the domicile of, do we have any real threats here, or is just talking?
No, they brought the sheriff, armed sheriff officers,
Policy enforcers.
To the school.
To the school? This is a corporation that y'all, the school?
The sheriffs brought peace officers.
Policy enforcers.
Solicitors. Yeah, policy enforcers.
To what
They
school?
were both to the school that my children were at the time.
Where school they go to?
Well, they don't go there anymore.
Because that's part of our issue too, putting them inside of those jurisdictions.
Well, that's the reason why they were searching for me, because I didn't have them enrolled in school. They were telling me that they better get in school. You better enroll them in school. So
Did you proclaim and declare, let them know that you were a Moorish American national?
At that time, no.
Were you a Moorish American national?
I was,
okay.
But I have, from experience there, they don't hear that. That's what
it ain't about experience.
I
Y'all gotta
understand.
let that go.
But in the moment, if it's just you, you do what you have to do so that you can be in the position of strength to fight back. And I was not in a position of strength at all, and I can't protect my children and fight at the same time.
So did you file a notice to the corporation that they originally were at? Because what happened was this. At one point your children were there, and at another point they weren't.
Yes.
So based on that, in their protocols, they're going to be like, oh, wait a minute, this child is not coming to school, and they're going to start sending you notifications.
That's what they did.
What did you do to let them know that, and what were you standing on as justification for you withdrawing them from that infrastructure?
I withdrew them, and I explained to them, well, I told them at that time when I withdrew them that I was homeschooling. Now, they
That's
have
still a
protocol
tag.
for that. Well, no.
What did you fill out?
I filled out the withdrawal form from the school.
Which was?
It was just basically stating who I was withdrawing, the date that I was withdrawing, and
What
withdrawing.
What did you declare to them as your status?
I didn't.
See?
That's the problem.
That's the start. When I withdrew, I didn't withdraw. I told them my children will no longer be coming here, and I'm standing on my indigenous rights. The United Nations rights of the child, the United Nations rights of the indigenous people, and the United Nations human rights. That's what I used to let them know that, I ain't gonna be doing this no more.
You told the board.
I told the board. I contacted the at the time I can't remember his name, but I contacted him and let him know I'm not going to be doing any of this. I'm a Moorish American national, and I gave copies of I just gave him a writ affidavit, and I had no issues after that ever. They just kept contacting me, like, when you gonna come in and withdraw him? I was like, I did through the affidavit. Y'all better do what y'all need to do.
Right.
Because you don't have to go into their venues and do anything in there. They got to do that corporate piece. Because like this thing says, they are held to those codes and processes, not you.
Right.
They're just trying to complete their records. They got to do it the way they see and attach that affidavit and like, look, this person has declared and proclaimed their nationality and are standing on their rights of indigenous as well as their rights of the child to be educated with their own culture.
Right.
That's the only mistake you made.
Well, it's fixed. It's correctable because right now they believe that they're out of state.
Say it again.
Well, they now the state believes that they're not residing in Ohio.
How would they believe that?
Because when I sent my documentation, I sent it from out of state.
Okay.
And I mentioned to them that.
Are they nationalized? Did you nationalize your babies yet?
That's what I'm here to do.
Oh, kick her. She was like straight round.
I am, but
before she did this. We do that a lot. Yes. We do that a lot. We be like, man, I'm. Forgot to say, I'm leaving.
Right. I didn't do any of that. I just
do the notification. Let me tell you, and I know where it comes from because let me tell you, everything you're feeling, I was there.
Yes.
Especially with the schools. I was like, when I found out about Moorish Nationality, I was like, get the fuck out of here.
Yes. Yes.
I I was pissed.
Yes.
I was like, did I really do this to my children? At that time, my son, who's in class, he was about, what grade were you in when I took you out? You're like, I don't remember, it's been so damn long. I can't even remember. It's hot in here now. They messing with us. So I did that. I didn't have fear. I had concerns. Yes. I was like, man, this is what I'm supposed to do this.
Exactly.
I didn't have a fear. None of that stuff, because even though I was subjugated like everybody here, I read. Oh, they can't do that. Just like how you be reading the service contract. So I be like, I ain't even read that. You know how long those service contract is? Look at the time. We got a contract reader right here. She'll read it and tell you exactly what's in it. Right? I was like, so I pulled them out. I sent them an affidavit, a notification, and I pulled them out because they do have a process for homeschooling.
Yes, they do.
They say, okay, just do this, but then they have, they still try to keep their little jurisdiction too, so you have to come completely out through your affidavits, and that's just stating and declaring who you are and using the indigenous, the United Nations rights as justification, as well as your right as a Moorish American national. So that's what I did. We just have to make sure we put the public notice up, because we have to let them know, because the reality is, for, let's say, 40 years of your life, you were identifying as a ward. They just need to know that you're no longer that. And if they still gang war after that, now you got liens, what you call them, death warrants, and you have other things that you can bring to the table. But all the law is on your side. You just have to step back into it. And the first step is what? Row 1 on the grid, which is nationality. Get on the grid, like I would say. And I do these tags because I know y'all love tags. We just love tags. We do love that. All right. So when somebody comes to you and says all this crazy stuff that they like to say, you done pledged your oath to me. To my ancestors. They here to repay that. They're here to collect on this stuff, y'all. That's why they're here. That's why everybody getting ghost from mysterious plane crashes, mysterious cancer deaths, all of these mysterious ways. Like, how did John McCain die? What did they say he died of?
Brain cancer.
Brain cancer. John McCain, it was brain cancer, right?
Yeah.
But all the way up leading to his so-called death, he was lucid, right? Brain cancer taking this first.
Yes.
Taking it. But he was lucid.
Yes.
All the way up to the end, but he died of brain cancer. Who was the other one? I mean, there was many. Bush, he just passed. What did he die of?
Kennedy died of the same said illness. The same exact illness.
Chief Justice Khalil? Kalia? What she die of? What did he die of?
In his sleep.
He just died in his... He died in his sleep, really? Do people die in their sleep? They just don't wake up? That happens?
I guess. They get lost up there.
Michael Jackson. Like, all these people just mysteriously dying of these weird things that, but yet 5 minutes ago, they was dancing and doing all types of stuff on stage.
Right.
I'm just saying, y'all, they're not going to tell y'all what y'all want to hear because they know who y'all are. We're just coming back into focus as to who we are. All right, so where are we going? We're going back to the civil letter so Robin could stop having panic attacks. I read this on purpose because let me tell you, the first time I read it, I didn't know what was talking about. I'm be honest.
I did.
The first time I read it, I'm sitting here like, wait a minute.
Do you think they have a copy of that letter in the Library of Congress or certified copy?
You see this? People always got to have validation.
No.
Going to the Library of Congress.
It
spending how much for the damn file? How much did that lady spend for that Library of Congress document? How much she spent for it?
Right.
One document, just one of them. $99. Y'all gonna spend 99 Federal Reserve notes for some stuff just to qualify that it's real? Why?
When is this country going to crash and make
When is what country? You don't want your country.
No, I'm talking about this government.
What
They're
government?
going to make cash money.
Who's the government?
Huh?
What is what
The
government?
United States. Huh?
They tested you.
Testing me?
They tested you.
Oh, okay. Because I've been hearing little
things here and there.
I know your spirit telling you most of it. Y'all ain't listening.
No, it's not a spirit. It's,
Yeah, I'm talking within
seeing it
you.
right
I'm
in
talking
it.
about within you.
I could care less about it crashing, but what I'm saying is we do have to have access to something to replace their money.
I'm done talking to
not
Bernard,
money.
y'all.
Already?
He is silenced for the rest of today.
Answer my question, that's all.
Nope.
Gold and silver. Gold and silver. Gold and silver on the first page of the Constitution. Read
You
it.
know why y'all are worried about the finance?
That's what it is.
Do y'all know why y'all are worried about the finance? Why are y'all worried about the finance? Tell me, answer the question. Why are you worried?
I need to know.
Why are you worried? You need to know because you're worried, so why are you worried?
I'm not worried as an individual.
Yes, you are. Answer the
I'm
question.
curious
That's why you
'cause
said
I
it.
need to know. Just like he said the same thing.
Because you want to eat.
Yeah.
Oh, I know how to shoot fish. I do all that stuff.
You want water.
Right.
You want to be able to watch Scandal when you're living it.
Right.
I know, y'all. I'm here. I'm an Asiatic. Answer me this question. Why are some people for Asiatic as a identifier on their nationality identification card and human? What does y'all spirit tell you about human? Because apparently y'all have issues with human.
Right. Well, Q is Greek meaning color, so color man.
Man is pink.
He was the,
Who? Man is what?
Hue is color. Man is to think.
Okay. That out?
That's what it is.
Because y'all like Asiatic, but y'all don't like human.
I don't claim Asiatic as an individual.
Can you break it down to us?
No. Because we're about to get back to the civil letter.
I can go back to
I just wanted to know because people are like, why is it Asiatic? The very person I thought was going to be here, why is it Asiatic? Because we changed it to Asiatic versus human. Does anybody know the etymology of human?
Black's Law Dictionary says monster.
Black's Law Dictionary, which version?
4th edition.
Says monster? Wow.
You get a law dictionary.
Look it up.
Etymology.
You got Black's Law? Look up human. I want to see the whole detail of it. Because I've been having issues with human too, so when it came to that's why we sharpen each other. Because I was like, ooh. Sharpen each other big time. Because I was like, yeah, I like Asiatic versus human, because human just doesn't do it for me, even though they identify themselves as what? A kind of a man, mankind? They tell you they are a kind of a man. In every document, in every movie you watch, they're making the distinction.
So what are they?
That's why they argue about
They're a kind of...
Cat, man, what they mix with?
You better do some research. We ain't talking about that today. Research. Research.
Like, straight up. I ain't saying.
There are more than just Asiatics on the planet. That's all I can say.
Natural person.
Which did you do Google or did you do 4th edition? Google is going to lie to you. Google gonna tell you what they feel like telling you at any particular time, and I feel it's influenced on you also.
Right.
So whatever you're thinking, it's gonna probably tell you that.
Or your prior Google searches.
Because they have AI, all up in there. So does everybody who's here to nationalize have a document for nationality? I have one left. Person coming? Who? He's on his way up? He said what? Can you say more? Okay. I guess next time I'm going to have 11 copies like I should have had this time.
It will make sense.
I think she might have sent me that information. It's hot in here. Can you tell them to turn the air back on? These are the ones from my son. Which one? Oh, you got a photo of him?
Well,
No.
I sent him a text so he could.
Where's the other copy? I need 2. I gave you 2 copies, didn't I? There's 2 originals that came with that package.
Oh, we pulled up some. So
Okay.
No, this is from home.
Okay.
And he just needs it sealed.
Yeah, and I need a photo. Can you send me the photo?
Well, he's gonna text it. I texted him to send it. He put it on YouTube.
Oh, you're talking about the video
The
for him
video, so that
signing.
you told him to put it on.
Oh, he texted? Well, I don't know where my phone at.
Well,
right
no,
now.
he hasn't yet. But,
Okay.
since you
Because I
said
could put a
that-
sticky right here so I know to look for it.
Okay.
Huh? Yeah. Yeah, I wonder how much energy I have left. But if it goes out, it goes out. Yeah, can you, when he texted to you, can you write it here?
Yes.
Thank you.
Human, right? H-U-M?
H-U-M-A-N. Human.
Almost there.
He's coming? He'll be here today?
Can we make a copy?
Everyone should know, in the
We have
first
who?
edition of Black's Law Dictionary,
I'm sorry,
it has all the liens and instructions.
Say this one more time.
No, we're together.
The first edition of Black's Law Dictionary has all the liens and instructions.
Oh, goodness, we need a lot
All the
up
time,
here.
I'm trying to explain it to everybody. but they-
You knew it.
Fourth. I said no.
I need more copies.
Has all the liens.
Do we have
and
color
all the
copiers
instructions.
downstairs? It is hot in here. Robin, we need 3 copies. 3 more. I should have did 11. I was tired. Goodness. You know Miss Warden, she directs me all the time. I be like, you ain't going to work. You sit here taking all this information and I got to
I
get...
sort of was noticing that, you know, that's a big.
What?
She's everything.
Oh, she just said, oh, why did you just say that?
Woman's not in the 4th edition.
I need 4 more copies.
One extra.
One more.
You need what?
One more.
So instead of 4, I need 5?
Yes.
That would do it.
It's 25 cents per paper? Well, shucks, there we go, because we're going to... Is it going to be color? Is it going to be color, Robin?
Yes.
Okay, I will. Don't make me. You don't have to do the other ones, because I think I have extra of these. All you need to do is the actual documents. I have extra of these. Just do these. I need... Okay, this is... All right. Hold on, y'all. Robin, I'm gonna beat you up today. You're just gonna get your ass beat. I'm just saying. All right. I think we need. Can you just do 10 copies of that, please? I don't know.
That's the document. Sure. So we need 5 of those for him.
Did that give you anything yet?
I just want to make sure it's yours.
Okay. You need to nationalize. So you need a whole pack. You need a whole pack. All right. Make sure you do 11.
Back and forth.
11 should satisfy.
Just 11.
11 of that whole package.
It's not the 4th edition.
Just
Whole pack, 11.
color. Wait a minute. How are we supposed to do what they don't do legal down there? They don't do legal. You know where you might.
They do know they do portraits.
They do.
We have to cut it down.
I ain't going through all that because I could just go down to the or have somebody go to the copier place I showed. Saul, remember the copier place I showed you? If you could take that and get 10 copies, that would be great. I don't like sending people out, but you know.
I got some.
I would if I
besides
was
paper just at home, just like this. I could put them a copy.
It's not, no.
We need it right now because we got like 4 people that need to be nationalized right now, and I only bought 6 originals, but that was 12 copies because it's 2 copies of each.
What is that alternative name of the website? That Google, and you mentioned another name.
You talking about Black's Law?
No.
The 4th edition Black's Law?
No, we weren't talking about that. We were talking about getting information from Google. And you said how they skew the information.
They skew it based on your thought.
Right. And the thing is, there was another reference that you talked about at the very beginning of you talking, at least when I came.
Talking about the website, Moorish American Consulate, and then the Facebook group?
Yeah, there's something else.
The consulate website. So when you remember, can you tell me? Because I can give it to you once you remember. But I think it's the consulate website, www.moorishamericanconsulate.org.
I have that.
What you talking about? What did I reference? I don't know, because I thought I gave everything.
It'll come to me.
There you go.
I'll put it that way.
You trying to scatterbrain me.
No, I don't do that. I like to know.
Judge, how much is it per copy?
If we do 100, you're only doing 10 copies, so it'll be about $40. Just tell them you just want basic. I can give some. Let's see what I got. All right, we need volunteers, because we need 40, we need to come up with 40 for 10 more copies. Can we come together with that? We're doing 10 copies originals, and that's about 10 pages each. So that's 100.
My fiance gonna call me back. He's gonna put the Canna app back in his phone, because I got everything in my phone. So he gotta put the Canna app back in his phone, and I'm gonna send him to the email. When he come pick me up, he can bring the copies with him.
When he coming to pick you up?
When it's over. I know.
Oh, you want to now?
That's fine, because it'll be legal in color, right? Yeah. That's fine. I mean, we can do it that way. Because you have the originals.
Do you really want to do that? Is that what you want to do, or you want to have these here now? I'm just asking because anything, I don't know what's can transpire between now and then with him.
How much is it going to cost you guys?
Huh?
I'm just saying, no, because everybody should know.
We need $40 to get these 10 copies.
Respectfully, we just go on with that.
I'm sure I got some Federal Reserve notes. Oh, I got some Federal Reserve notes too. I got $6. That's all I got. I got 6.
No, here.
Here, put it there. Who? Who's he?
Excuse me, our brother here.
Who?
Has already satisfied it.
Well, just get more then. Just get enough to cover all that. Don't put it back. We can take that too. Come on, give it up. Give it up. There you go.
Hey, you don't miss a beat, do you?
I heard you over here. I was on my way. How are we doing on this camera? Let's see. It's Lam, y'all. This would fit. Look, oh my goodness. Look at y'all. Y'all gonna make me cry.
Y'all know ain't no money.
If I was light, I'd already be crying. Yeah, light, I said it. It is so hot in here.
It is. We get the gold and silver. We use the silver.
I can't handle it.
Per ounce. Walking in with an ounce.
I ain't taking this over there.
No.
Now I'm just gonna make some t-shirts. I got a shirt underneath this.
I had 2,000 of these worth. 1 ounce and half.
What's that? Well, we still on live. I want to get through the civil orders letter. That's the next thing. So hopefully by the time. Wait a minute. How about somebody go with Saul so Saul ain't by himself? Who going with Saul? Trayvon, you want to go with Saul? Go ahead, Trey. Trey, go with Saul.
Hey, if anybody has a jump job, I'll load the discount.
Wait a minute. I got the USB. Because you don't even got to take the copies. You can just. Where's my USB?
Everything they gave me, man, was $20. I give you for free.
Because it'll give a better copy and you'll get your money.
I gave you 3 documents.
Give me a second. I'm going to give you
other stuff. You can do an
2 files.
claim on mortgages and foreclosure. Get all your stuff back.
I'm going to give you, Saul, I'm going to give you 2 files. I'm going to give you my flash drive so you can get the 2 files from the flash drive. Because it'll print out better color.
Huh?
Just make sure I know where it's at.
I'm going to create a file for Moorish Consulate. Okay. And while Sharon is doing her thing, everybody has a blanket.
I'm just loving y'all.
I'm not find out where I put it at. I'm going to just put it on the damn thing.
All the resources back.
Okay, there it is. 17. Here it is.
Oh, well, the adverse claim, let's go to YouTube. There's 3 of them. Put in adverse claim, time to repay. You'll explain it all. But you got it in writing on the disc. Give me a disc, I'll put it in the envelope. You got samples of it. Down look at your Black's Law Edition and 4th edition on your disc as well.
If you pick up
I actually need this.
You get it?
No.
My warden sitting here warding me. Robin is such a warden. I'm gonna tell you. So what we doing? All right, y'all.
Sure. Explain real briefly so everybody understands. Because a lot of Moors are going to jail because they've been leading, not the government. They need to use the.
Because you know, ignorance.
Watch yourself.
Might have been ignorant. They didn't ask to get clarity, insight. He was saying about leading a government official, like judges and.
You mean a service corporation and
the individual doing it versus a government.
That's the government is doing it because on the document.
No, you missed what I said. Individual versus a government. He not somebody not even a Moor.
Oh well, he ain't supposed to do that because he's property.
That's what I'm trying to say. I'm just saying.
You can't lean not
that's
nationalized. You have to be nationalized to lean. Because you have to be in your proper person. Because outside of your proper person, you do not have jurisdiction to do it. And that's why they put you in the claim slate.
Yep, the 3-letter guy don't get you.
Because it is illegal.
Well, there is a lien that you can use, a specific type of lien that you use pre-judgment.
As what?
It's called an enchante lien. Now,
But who can? But we talking about status and people who can actually issue.
I understand the status, but there is what I'm saying is there is an actual one for them to. There's a type of lien that you can use. You can have access to. It's called. You have to clarify. It's called an enchante lien. That's a lien you can put on them before you receive judgment. Because you're protecting your investments, which binds them to your controversy. So if you're in your second step of your administrative process, you put a lien on it before you send it.
When you talk about your administrative process, what process is this?
The administrative process is when we submit the affidavit. After they've sent us a claim, a summons, a document saying that they want to play, and you submit that first, your right of defense notice to them, that's when you begin an administrative process.
Well, you can just get a notice of approval and not go through all that.
That's what I'm here to find out. Because
I was like, I am so not all that nonsense. Let me tell you, you sit here go through that process, you will sit here and waste a whole year of information and processes.
Right.
All you have to do is send it to send it to the consulate.
That's exactly what we're here to find out. How do we find out?
I'm taking it off the camera because somebody needs to see it. Here you go. Here you go. Here you go.
She actually texted
me. Hold you the third person first before we talk about this.
That's the one I saw. She just texted me this.
Now you're going to claim it as an aboriginal indigenous for those type of people. There's certain ways to do it, but you got to give the first three columns of those. Because there's a reason why you got to do it. Because you're going to put it in your trust. You're going to link it to your trust of the government. And then, once we had the Moorish American Imperial Guard together, you're going to go and tell the sheriff through certain writs and affidavits to give you back the keys to the home. And if he doesn't, then we're just going to go in there and put the documents. But that's after you get through tier 3 and after you get the Moorish Imperial Guard established in every territory. You can take possession right now. That means they built up your wealth by building up on it. What they put there? A corporation, a house, and who's so-called living in it? You going to evict them. Or don't evict them. Tell them, okay, you gotta pay me now in local currency. That's how you get some local silver. The commerce has to come through the Moors. That's where it's supposed to be. So we're just redoing that. That's it. You got it all down? There's a lot of activity going on now. Ain't nobody paying attention now?
Hey, I'm enjoying.
Are we done? What time is it? What time is it? Look, it's 1:30. Y'all know we usually end this at 1 o'clock. Let's see who's on here. I can't see. Let's see who's on here. 59 people. Do we want it? Robin, do you want to go finish going over the civil orders letter, or do we want to wrap it up since it is 1:30 to just document things? I can't hear you. The whole civil order? You want to read the whole one?
Excuse me, can we get your attention? We all, you know, we're on the civil orders, and Chief, as the judge was helping you to understand, you know, what the whole purpose of this, and where all this is coming from, and what, since you don't really understand or understand what those civil orders are, we want to bring you back to that, because she's saying it on every tape, but you need to know this. I'm just going to tell you. You need to understand this. That these civil orders are coming from the Pope. The Pope is saying these things because the Pope owns everybody he's talking to. And you know what? Corporations, shut it down, stop taking the African American, this, stop. Yep. He's telling that to his employees. He's saying that to his employees. Pax the Lord, family. I mean, excuse me.
Breathe. That's breathe.
Loved ones.
5 seconds, breathe. Just breathe.
Kinfolk. Yes.
Pope Francis, doing business as the Pope over in the Vatican, gave up civil orders to Barack H. Obama on July the 4th of 2014.
And before that, June 10th.
Right, and thank you. And Barack H. Obama then did not place them, as you said, respectfully, brother, on the record, Library of Congress, until August the 19th of 2015. So, the directive was to shut the corporation down. Why am I telling you? How can I tell you? Because I own it. So I'm telling you as your boss, you're the president of my corporation. The orders say how it's supposed to be dispensed to Barack H. Obama first, to Congress, all these people, all these de factos. Shut it down. Shut it down. Shut it down. So the masses doesn't even know this yet. They don't. So all of the secret societies, all of the people that are running his corporation, he said, shut it down. And he told them what's going to happen if we should get it to the level of where we did. The consulate is in full effect. The Moors are here. The de jure, Article 13. 3 is here. It's here. The de jure is here. We already heard. You already seen. Shut down. The government, the thing shut down, right? They shut down, right?
Now breathe it.
So then we hear Noble Drew Ali say, you know what? The corporation, the service corporation is going to shut down, and when it opens again, the Moors are going to be in charge. Okay? So, with that being said, go over these letters, these civil orders, this civil order document. Go over it, and you know what? Pull yourself off a copy of the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous, and you'll see that, you know what? This ties right into what he's saying. You're out of blackness. You're out of this civil war truth, dead in the eyes of the law, and you know what? You're lining back up with your nation. They already know who you are. You know what? And so you need to see who you are. If you don't know your rights, you have no rights.
Islam. Can we get to the word?
Pack some more.
Pack some more.
I put a copy of this letter in my so-called case. I'm asking the question. If I put a copy of this letter in my so-called case, does this shut my case down?
Copy of the letter?
Right.
So-called case?
I mean, a copy of the letter from the Pope gave his civil orders.
Civil orders.
Any case, any that we've been subjected to, meaning pulled into court.
Hey, should we add that to the list of other things that we send to the tribunals?
That's what I was.
Maybe we should.
Because if you put it on record,
right?
They don't put it on record. If you put it on record through the mail, certified mail with power receipt.
Oh yeah.
That's a great idea. What he's saying is part of the notice of removal, because what is to be attached to the notice of removal? Does anybody know that?
What is to be attached?
At a notice of removal when you file it. Because the first filing of the notice of removal is to who are you sending it to? De facto. before you send it to us. So you're not sending it to the consulate until you've served the tribunal. You got to serve them first. And then you let us know that you served them, because then we'll do the acceptance.
Whose Kingston is this?
All right?
Who's little silver?
Silver what?
Flash drive.
Oh, that's my, is that my flash drive? Wait, nobody got my flash drive. I'm like, only got one. Okay. Notice of removal process. Okay. I guess I'll bring that up. We only going to spend 5 minutes on this one. Okay. All right. The notice of all of the documents for the notice of removal is in the file section of the group. So if you're not a part of the Moorish American Consulate NE Amexem group, join and download the documents. Because the first document is the actual template of the notice of removal. That's the first document. It's like a 6 to 7 page document. You're going to add your Moorish appellation, your ex-rel strawman in the so-called corporate venue, trying to hypothecate you, your estate, or your property. Okay? So this is the first thing that you're going to do, the notice of removal template. Keep in mind, Moors, you have to have a record number from the Moorish American Consulate before you can do your notice of removal. The record number is MAC, and then wherever you got it recorded. For instance, mine is MACN, followed by 6 zeros and 3 4s. So everybody has a record number. You get it when you record your nationality status with the consulate. So if you haven't received it, you gotta wait until you receive it.
Don't jump the gun.
And if you haven't received it, also just put I'm not gonna say that. You just need to get your record number from it, right? And then once you have this completed with the so-called tribunal's information. So if it's the so-called Common Court of Pleas of Ohio Corporation, you're going to put it on there. You're going to list the so-called administrator acting like a judge on there. If you don't know who specifically the administrator is, you have to go to the website to find out.
Trying to fill in the template. Is it a template?
Right? So this is the first that you're going to do. This template, which is the notice of removal, it's 6 to 7 pages. All right? You're going to sign it. You're going to put the tracking information on the document. That's certified return receipt or, certified return receipt on the document. So when you send all that supporting documentation to the consulate, we can verify that they have been served because we will verify through the tracking. If you hand deliver it in and have it filed with the so-called case, then we have a delivery slip that you're going to complete to confirm that you have filed it with the so-called corporation, and you're going to attach it with this, who you filed it with. Who, obviously, they may refuse to sign. So, but you're still going to put that information as validity for you serving them. Because the first part of the notice of removal is letting them know that you're removing the case to the proper venue. All right? So that's the first thing you do. Once you have that document printed, completed, and signed and thumbprint with your information, you don't need it sealed unless you have your own seals. You seal it. And then you're going to mail this.
So you don't sign it.
Hold on. I don't sign the notice of removal. You sign the notice of removal. You're gonna keep talking. You're gonna complete this first. And then the next is the supporting documentation that goes with the notice of removal. So it'll be whatever documentation you received from them. So citation, tickets, case number, whatever you have at your disposal. If they gave you tickets, if they gave you a citation, if you received some type of summons in the court, anything with a so-called identification number, which most likely will have a so-called case number. You're going to add that right underneath the notice of removal. And you're also going to put those numbers in the notice of removal, and when you download the document and you see it, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. All right? So first is the notice of removal. Then it's the supporting documentation from the so-called tribunal. What's next, y'all? Has anybody done a notice of removal yet?
That's what I'm trying. I need to do one for my daughter.
Oh, they should include, hold on, you wait. The other case number should be the first one as well, preliminary, because then it eliminates the remanding. They can remand you and create a new case. That's how slick they are.
They can't remand you and do nothing.
No, but that's what they're doing. They're being real slick. So
They remanded a strong man.
right, but you take all the case numbers they got and throw it on there.
Yes,
And you put the,
if they're in one specific tribunal, yes. Because sometimes you'll have multiples for different so-called cases. You're going to have to do one specifically for those cases. But if they're all being heard, if you have multiple case numbers with one specific tribunal, you'll list them all in that one.
The judge can apply, say if it's not like a court case, say you got like a traffic infraction or ticket or
citation.
I couldn't see that.
Because the citation is going to have a number on it. You know, it might even have like a straight, it's a straight invoice number, like a sequential number. It's going to have that number, you're going to put that on there, but the supporting documentation will give them the information that they need to remove it from, to dismiss it from their records because they don't have jurisdiction. Right? So, you're going to give a copy of this. The notice of existence. Y'all know what the notice of existence is, right?
No.
The notice of existence of the Moorish American Consulate.
Oh, yeah, I did.
Okay.
Next is treaty. Treaty of peace and friendship. The next is the record numbers. I'm not going to write them out. I'm just going to put the numbers. You got to go download them from the website.
Yeah, I think so.
Those MAC numbers, or MAC record numbers. The first one goes to the Declaration of the Moorish National Republic Federal Government. The second one goes to the International Writ and Arrest Command, the Writ of Removal and Arrest Command. The third one goes to the Declaration of the Moorish Divine and National Movement of the World Trust. The fourth one goes to the International Affidavit of the Right to Travel, Covenant, Estoppel, Execution link.
It's on the website, the public notice.
All on the website. Then you want to add your nationality documentation because now you're putting them on notice to your status correction. Even though 9 times out of 10 you told the so-called bandit, terrorist, an outlaw that pulls you over who has no jurisdiction and who is a criminal, who you was. And at that moment when you told that bandit, terrorist, outlaw, criminal, and doing criminal activities at Morocco, who you were, he was supposed to stand down and leave. But because he felt it upon his responsibility to still issue you a citation, you give him a lien off the writ. Because you already told him who you were. Regardless of his directives, through his corporation, has nothing to do with you. Islam? They're going to stop pulling you over altogether. And this ties specifically into the right to travel, where you'll have plates that'll also talk about your nobility. Where you going?
I gotta go have to train on.
Oh, you got I got your information. I got your documents. Wait a minute, did she sign and seal them?
Well, have your disc?
It's not sealed. I don't have a disc. I'm already declared, but I needed mine.
No, it's not. It's something else.
I don't have a disc.
Okay, text me your email address.
Can I send you this in the mail?
I'll be at Tasha's thing.
That was yesterday. Where you going? Where you going?
Oh, I thought he was having a party on Saturday night.
No, that was yesterday.
We was there.
Yeah.
we came to Cleveland just for that.
Yeah, you missed it.
And we got.
I will put his. Is this his email address? What's this?
That's his name.
Give me his phone number and his email address because I'll mail it back to him. Because I need to record it. I need to do his
He
Mac.
did it. He did the video. Oh my gosh.
Make sure you put his cell phone number and his email address down. And then I will mail him his originals back to him.
Okay.
Because I got to, yeah.
Cell number.
I forgot where I was at. I was trying to catch her before she let her out the door.
Is that a different bullet right there, nationality documents?
Yes,
That's the
nationality documents are your nationality. Huh?
That's the 6th item you said to go
Yeah,
along with that. Okay.
that has to be done because that's you putting them on records, letting them know. It's just more validation as to who you are. So they ultimately they're going to stop. Well, more stop giving them contributions.
Right.
They live off of you.
Right.
We keep bonding out and all this other stuff. We giving them finance, y'all. We don't give them finance. They supposed to be giving us finance because they own our land, utilizing our wealth and resources.
George Washington's brother explains how they're not giving it to us.
As opposed to the fact that our anyway, we're next at what? The document that Robin was reading or hinting about. The Civil Orders Letter, June 10, 2014, issued to all members of the Domestic Police Force, the U.S. Marshal Service, the Provost Marshal, the members of the American Bar Association, and the American Armed Forces. I just want to let people know the right to travel process. I'll go into detail next week, next class, to talk about getting the plates. I'm not talking about them today because I want to get called on nationality identification cards. So I'll bring those up next week, so we'll take orders for actual cards next week. I mean, actual plates next week. And then you'll have them most likely the following week. All right? And we'll talk extensively about the right to travel next week. All right? And that's where you're going to put your allodial nationality plates on your conveyance, and you're going to send notifications to the Department of State of the so-called corporate state, as well as the Attorney General, as well as the Department of Transportation, as well as the so-called governor. You're going to put them on notification before you start traveling with your private plates on your conveyances, because you have to revenue them back to your private trust, which is why getting to the third row. Is it column? Column, I'm sorry. Getting to the third column of the grid is where you're tying in all your personal and private assets into your private allodial trust. That's why it's important for the trusts to get completed. Islam? However, everybody's covered under this trust and this trust, because this is the trust of the Moorish National Republic Federal Government. This is the trust of the Moorish Divine and National Movement of the World. So you are already covered as Moorish American nationals under those trust indentures, no longer under the so-called Sister BQ trust. Okay?
Thank you.
All right. This is a 7-page document. Robin, do I seriously got to read it at this 11th hour? This 7-page civil's order? Do I have to read it? How about everybody take a part and read it and come up here and read it? Islam, there we go. Come on. And state for the record in this public notification your appellation. Like I, Moorish American National, Sharon Tracy Del Bay, ex-rel, Sharon T. Gell, public notice. Until when you're done, when you're tired, then you pass off to the next person. That's all. I'm gonna go around and talk. Look at you. Did you make a word on your own? You didn't have to do that. It's mine. You need a copy of it?
My appellation is Malika L.
You gotta inflect your voice.
I'll try. At the federal level, the American government has always been a separate foreign international maritime jurisdiction operated under contract to provide two services. One, protect the national true assets, and two, perform governmental services for the several states, which in terms of international law are all recognized sovereign nations. The equity contract known as the Constitution for the small United States of America makes it clear that the several states contracted to form a single government services agency known as the Capital United States. The contract stipulates the assets to be held in trust. Excuse me. Sis, your screen changed.
What you do?
I'm back. The contract stipulates the assets to be held in trust by the federal government, and the preamble and Bill of Rights comprising the trust indenture portion of the contract, and also stipulates the 19 enumerated services to be performed, and exactly what powers, in quotations, the states agreed to delegate to the United States Capitol, and how they would pay for these services, period. What isn't so widely known or appreciated is that the governmental services company known as the Capital United States was a privately owned and operated commercial company set up by Benjamin Franklin in 1754, period. George Washington was actually the 11th president of this company and only the first president to take office after the receipt of the Constitution contract. According to 1824 Webster's Dictionary, the word federal was a synonym for contract at the time the original Constitution was written. All constitutions are affirmations of debt. In this case, the debt the states assumes when they created the federal government and jointly agreed to pay for the services that it would provide. The office of president is and always has been a uniquely commercial office, not a head of state. Because the federal government services company is privately owned and operated, only shareholders known as electors have a real say in its elections and administration. Only trustees known as members of Congress have the right to determine how the national trust assets are protected, though they are obligated as trustees to do a reasonable job of it. And only the states have the right to complain if the stipulated services aren't up to par. The American people at large, known simply as inhabitants of the domestic states, or state citizens, capital C citizens, they'll always have been a separate and distinct population apart from the capital U.S. citizens, lowercase citizens, or federal citizens. And to those two groups, a third kind of small citizen was added in 1870, that of U.S. citizens. Following the Civil War, the governmental services company providing the services agreed to by the states reorganized as a corporation doing business as the Capital United States of America Incorporated, and published its articles as the Constitution of the Capital United States of America. Unlike the Constitution for the small United States of America, the Constitution of the Capital United States of America is a document peculiar to the new municipal, that is, state-city government, formed to administer the affairs of the District of Columbia and federal territories and possessions. This corporate constitution provided for the creation of a new kind of federal citizen, a U.S. small citizen, and from that point onward, from the perspective of the new federal municipal government formed by the Act of 1871. American state citizens, capital citizens, the inhabitants of the domestic 50 states, were regarded as non-resident aliens. This same corporation doing business as the capital United States of America, incorporated, chartered in Delaware, began operating two separate governments at once: the municipal government of the District of Columbia and the federal government, owned to the states of the Union, both under auspices of the capital United States Congress. These semantic deceits have given rise to endless confusions, usurpations, and criminality. These general civil orders address some of those issues which are most important at this time. The Congress ceased operating as it was required by contract to operate in 1860. After December of 1865, it never again operated as an unincorporated body politic representing the states of the Union. The federal government has functioned exclusively as an incorporated commercial entity with an elected board of directors, merely calling itself the capital U.S. Congress ever since. As such, the federal government is a commercial operation like any other commercial corporation. Is a commercial corporation like any other commercial corporation. It has no special status, no immunity from prosecution, and hasn't functioned as a governing body of a sovereign nation for 150 years. To overcome this obvious difficulty, the U.S. Congress formed another union of American states from the federal territories and possessions. The 7 insular states, including the state of New Columbia, District of Columbia, Guam, Puerto Rico, American Samoa, Italian, and formed a new nation simply calling themselves the Capital United States of America, and claim separate national sovereignty. Thus, we have the Capital United States of America Major, comprised of the now 50 organic states created by statehood compacts, and the United States, Capital United States of America Minor, representing the 7 insular states, both being administered under the direction of the corporate board of directors known as the Capital U.S. Congress, which has continued to act solely as the sovereign government of the Capital United States of America Minor. These blatant semantics deceits by officers of the federal corporation and officials of the United States of America Minor amount to purposeful constructive fraud against their employers, the American organic states. To try to overcome this obstacle, members of the U.S. Congress, Capital U.S. Congress Major, contrived a complex regulatory scheme by which they established their own state governments and have tried to claim that they have been at war with the American people while relying upon the organic states for their own sustenance, and having falsely claimed that they established exclusive legislation jurisdiction over the original states of the Union by these acts of self-interested fraud carried out against their employers and benefactors. Fraud has no statute of limitations, period. The governmental services corporations have always been under commercial contract to provide services to the American people and have acted against their employers as employees. It is essential that members of the Bar Association, members of the state governments, which have been surreptitiously redefined to their detriment, members of the domestic police forces, and members of the various armed forces gain a clear understanding of the fact that for purposes of administration of government services on American state soil, the federal government is a corporation with no more civil authority on the land than J.C. Penney or Harley Davidson, period. The federal government is under contract to the organic states, and as our forefathers vested the entire civil government on the land, in the people inhabiting the land, each American is a sovereign organic state of the Union, period. Each one of us have more civil power and authority on the land than the entire federal government has ever had or ever can have, period. For that reason, and as a result of the deliberations which have already taken place among the other nations of the world, the federal government, doing business as Capital United States, Inc., Incorporated, a French commercial operation, is hereby called to task for non-performance on its contractual obligations, the semantic deceits involved in claiming that American state citizens are U.S. citizens, all caps, and all the other fraudulent claims advanced against the American states and people are to be fully recognized for what they are, fraudulent claims having no merit and own no enforcement, period. Other corporate entities, notably the Federal Reserve and the International Monetary Fund, which are responsible for creating and promoting this fraud, are to be recognized and dealt with appropriately as international dealers in fraud and usury. American Negroes have in the past been considered U.S. citizens because that is the only citizenship they were ever granted after the Civil War. A grave error of justice that resulted in them only having civil rights, which are privileges granted by the U.S., capital U.S. government, Congress, instead of the natural and unalienable rights that are naturally heir to them. They were also claimed as chattel, backing the debts of the United States, capital United States of America, Incorporated, despite both national and international prohibitions abolishing slavery and peonage. A prompt correction is available from the organic states, and by proclamation of these organic states, they are granted full and immediately recognizable status as American nationals, owns all the natural and unalienable rights of any other organic state citizen, capital citizen, no matter which geographically defined state they may inhabit on the land. The only exceptions are those unfortunates born within the borders of the insular states, District of Columbia, Guam, Puerto Rico, etc., who must self-declare under Article 15 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. It has been the policy of the United States of America Minor to consider all federal employees and members of the active duty military who are birthright inhabitants of the United States of America Major temporary dual citizens, subject to the capital United States of America Minor. However, the United States of America Major recognizes no dual citizenship whatsoever, and the process required for any birthright inhabitant of the land to adopt U.S. citizenship is both lengthy and purposeful, as stated in U.S. Statute at Large 2. Revised Statute 2561, period. As the employers of the United States of America Minor, we exercise our proprietary interests and direct all American state citizens to defend the interests and integrity of the American organic states regardless of any contrary orders issued by any corporate officer of the United States, all caps, or foreign official acting under the auspices of the United States of America Minor. All birthright state citizens of the United States of America Major are specifically enjoined from engaging in any activity contrary to the health, welfare, safety, and benefit of their fellow state citizens, and will otherwise be recognized as criminals, regardless of what uniforms they wear or what authorities they present to have. If corporate President Obama should order any member of the U.S. military or any armed agency personnel, BATF, IRS, NSA, FEMA, FEMA, etc., to open fire upon American state citizens, it will be a war crime against non-combatant civilians, and it will be immediately recognized as such throughout the world, period. For all military and civil-based defense and law enforcement agencies, the rules to observe is, if you can't do it as a private individual, you can't do it as a public officer, period. All state citizen who is forced to open fire on federally or federal, state, or state-funded personnel in defense of life or property will be recognized as a non-combatant civilian without exception, held harmless and supported by all members of the American Armed Forces of the United States of America Major and all American state militias, period. Any state citizen so imposed upon by those in his or her employment or hired by those in his or her employment in any capacity whatsoever, including elected officials, will be entitled to full reparations in the amount of $5 million US, or the equivalent at the time of the damage incurred for every death, $2,500,000 US, or the equivalent at the time of the damage for every permanent disability. They shall also be owed full reparations for all property damage incurred and up to 80 times compensatory damages at the discretion of a jury of their peers. The individual states of the Union formed by statehood compact retain the full and unencumbered claim upon their birthright inhabitants. These states are defined geographically. They are not incorporated entities, and they are not represented by any incorporated state or state of organization at this time. They are presented solely by the unincorporated body politic and their individual inhabitants who retain all organic and civil prerogatives on the land. Those organizations currently calling themselves the State of Alaska or the State of Alaska, this is caps and all caps on upper, lower, proper, etc., are representatives of two different governmental services corporations operated by the Federal Reserve State of Alaska and the International Monetary Fund State of Alaska, doing business as franchisees of the United States of America Incorporated and the Capital United States Incorporated, respectively. They have no representation or capacity whatsoever and are operating under commercial contract only. Because these states and federal entities have all functioned under conditions of non-disclosure and semantic deceit, serving to promulgate fraud upon the organic states and the American people, they are all to be considered criminal syndicates to the extent that they have been aware of their status and have failed to correct their operations and representations. All contracts held by these organizations or assumed to be held by these organizations are null and void for fraud. These contracts include but are not limited to contracts for sale, for labor, for trade, citizenship contracts, powers of attorney, licenses, mortgages, registrations, and application agreements of all kinds, period. All signatures of American state citizens acting under the influence of semantic deceit and non-disclosure are rescinded. All those individuals engaged in employment as federal and state municipal employees and elected officials are hereby given notice that they are employees of private for-profit corporations that are merely under contract to provide stipulated public services, having no special status, having no immunity, and having no authority as sovereign nations or states. Any actions that they take infringing on the rights and prerogatives of American state citizens are criminal acts without exception and are to be treated as criminal acts, period. These individuals have exactly the same standing as employees of any other commercial company, and the rules, regulation, codes, and other statutes they enforce are obligations unique to those organizations only. Forgive me, my Latin is not so good. Posse comitatus is to be observed and enforced on the lands of the domestic organic states, regardless of any executive order issued by Barack H. Obama acting as President of the United States of America Minor, or as the President of any incorporated entity whatsoever. Any such imposition of martial law by Mr. Obama has actually the same legal standing as any such imposition as martial law imposed by the President of Burger King International or the King of Sweden in the land of the organic states. He can order his paid employees to commit harikari if he wishes to do so, and they may follow his instructions if they care to, but they may not under any circumstance murder anyone, assault anyone, seize any private property, or cause any trouble for American state citizens, or they shall be immediately recognized as criminals and treated as such. Likewise, the government of the United States of America Minor may do what it wills with those who are legitimately born under its hegemony, but it cannot say one word claiming authority over any birthright state citizen of the United States of America major. Please note that Barack H. Obama is Commander-in-Chief of the U.S. Armed Forces, which legitimately includes the Puerto Rican Navy and whatsoever security forces are endemic to Guam, American Samoa, and the other insular states. The Grand Army of the Republic and its successors are obligated to perform under General Order 100. The American Armed Forces are also known as the Armed Forces of the United States of America Major. are paid for by and obligated to serve the organic states, which we present and for which we require your service, period. In the absence of a properly formed and operational government of the Republic, all rights revert to the organic states, including the civil authority to issue these general orders. President Barack H. Obama is operating as an official of the United States of America minor and as a corporate officer in the employ of the United States, all caps, a French commercial corporation chartered by the International Monetary Fund, an agency of the Capital United Nations. He is not now, nor has he ever been, elected to any public office of the United States of America major. Likewise, the members of the U.S. Congress have never taken the oath of any public office of the United States of America major and are merely operating as private corporate officers of the same commercial corporation doing business as the United States, all caps. All offices deriving and paid and or receiving credit entirely or in part as a result of the original equity contract known as the Constitution for the United States of America, small u, are offices of the Armed Forces of the United States of America major. By definition, and those who serve in those offices are employees of the inhabitants of the domestic now 50 states defined by statehood compacts. As such, you are now receiving direct orders under the civil authority of these organic states, period. All the foregoing circumstance is indeed the mischief predicted by Chief Justice Harlan in his dissenting opinion given in Downs versus Bidwell. Mischief resulting from allowing Congress to operate two governments at once, one a constitutional republic and the other an oligarchy under the plenary court control of Congress. The members of the U.S. Congress have been corrupted by power, lust, or through ignorance subverted and used to serve the aims of criminals. That does not give anyone else a license to sin. It merely requires the recognition of the sin of the members of the Congress and appropriate enlightened action, depriving them of any power or excuse to continue these deceits and usurpations. There are 515 people responsible. It is incumbent upon them to straighten it out and for the rest of us to insist that they do so. It is also the responsibility of all members of the domestic police forces and all members of the American military to preserve the peace and tranquility and prosperity owned to the American people. By order issued by Pope Francis doing business as Franciscus on July 11, 2013, all members of the American Bar Association are similarly required to serve the cause of peace and will be held individually responsible for any action seeking to undermine the government of the organic states of the Union or defraud the people inhabiting the organic states. We affirm under penalty of perjury that we are natural, living, birthright inhabitants of the Wisconsin state and Washington state respectively, fully of age, permanently domiciled in the jurisdiction of the air, holding unimpeded material interests upon the land jurisdiction of the United States of America major. These general civil orders are issued upon our civil, commercial, and canon authority by our living hands and by our testaments jointly sworn and witnessed by our seals and autographs before Pope Francis and all nations, declaring that the truth of these matters has been established beyond reasonable doubt upon the public record, and we hereby autograph, seal, and issue these general civil orders to all officers commissioned and non-commissioned, active duty and reserves, without the United States of America minor, without the United Nations, without the city-state of Westminster, and without representation. And thereby signed and witnessed and the end.
Very good. Thank you.
I'm just going to close up the live feed. We've been on live for like a long time. That's long. No, she did the whole thing by herself. She didn't ask nobody to assist. Islam family, we're going to end the live feed now. Packs up some more. Nobody has any questions? Hopefully you don't. Awesome. Awesome. So we're going to end. And we'll see, same time, same place, Might be a different place in here, but same place. Pack that some more and get on the grid if you ain't on there yet. Peace and love. Say peace, family. Peace. How the hell you stop? Oh, goodness. I do. They be doing stuff. Like, this ain't the way it's supposed to be.
It stopped.
It stopped? Oh, no, it didn't. It just did something else.
Oh boy, here you go.
They be tripping me out on these phones. End. Where's the end button? Oh, here. She's hiding it. Look, Demetria is always... He be